Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, welcome. I'm your host, Julius and once again we come back to Tsukihime. Tsukihime, however you want to call it. The Tsukihime? Never heard of her. Anyway. We're gonna continue the seal route. I did look into it, and we're still fine. So there shouldn't be any issues with continuing it. I just need to remember what chapter we're on. Infernal River of Blood 1. Okay. Let's go.
割といい部屋ね。これなら一晩過ごしても文句ないかな。
What voice did I do again? I forgot. Etiquette happily looks around the hotel room. I'm still speechless after everything that's just happened. Okay.
それで、俺は何をすればいいんだよ。
That was more like...
とりあえず移動するわ。私の部屋は守りには向かないから。そうね。見晴らしのいい高いところに行きましょうか。
The hotel. And so here we are. Etiquette flagged down a taxi on the main street and we took it to the next town over. Okay. She checked us into a room at one of the most expensive hotels in the area. Well, I say a room. She actually booked out the entire top floor. It was like she's a celebrity.
Oh, 高い。
Wow.
人間の建築技術ってほんとめきめき向上するわよね。こういうのなんて言うんだっけ？一発千金？
Yeah, pedal to the metal.
まあどっちでもいっか。ほら見てシキ。さっきまでいた路地裏があんなにちっちゃくなってる。
Etiquette has opened a small gap for herself in the curtains and seems to be having fun looking at the scenery through the window. I am by no means in the mood for this. This place isn't a hotel room so much as a fortress. So much as a fortress that happens to have been built on top of a hotel. The blackout curtains, the furniture that decorates the room, and even the materials used for the walls and doors are significantly more luxurious and sturdy than the ones you'd find in your average hotel. And since we've rented out the entire top floor, no other guests will come up here. This room even has a monitor that shows what's happening in the lobby on the first floor. I'm struck once again by how the pedigreed people that use hotel rooms like this are like a totally different breed to the rest of us.
今夜はここに隠れましょう。宿泊費のことは気にしなくていいよ。
Okay.
私お金持ちだからおごってあげる。
Speaking cheerfully, Etiquette pulls away from the window. She said it was a great lookout spot, but it appears she's already tired of the bird's eye view of the city.
アルクエイド、お前何考えてるんだ？
I let out a sigh.
何って別にいろいろ考えてるけど。
いや、そういうことじゃなくてだな。男とホテルの一室なんて。
I was about to say something, but I stopped. My role here is just to be a lookout for this self-proclaimed vampire. I don't have to say anything superfluous.
いや、いい。好きにしてくれ。
変な式。いきなり怒ったり黙ったりして予測がつかないね。
I'm not sure what's so funny, but Etiquette is laughing. Meanwhile, I'm standing right next to the door, still very much on edge, keeping a watchful eye over the entire room. I'm the complete opposite of the relaxed Etiquette. I'm exhausted and desperately want to rest. But if I were to sit down on the sofa now, I can all but guarantee I'd be out like a light. No matter how desperate I get, I can't allow myself to become that defenseless.
シキ、何か飲む？ここ飲み物がたくさんあるみたい。
I hear a carefree voice coming from over by the minibar. Needless to say, the bottle in Etiquette's hand is some form of alcohol.
あのな、未成年のくせに酒を勧め。
I bite my tongue mid-sentence. I'm not actually sure whether she's underage or not. I don't care to know though, so I'm not about to ask.
後で自分で選ぶからいい。 それより
No matter how tired or bewildered I am, there's something I have to clear up. What exactly is she? In other words, how dangerous is the situation I'm in right now? Even if the answer defies common sense, I can't sit down and relax on the couch without first trying to understand things as best I can.
それより、お前に聞きたいことがある。のんびり休むのはその後だ。
構わないけど、どうしたの？急にかしこまって。
Of course I seem serious. I haven't let my guard down for even a second since I ran into you. Anyway, that aside...
真面目な話だよ。結局のところ、お前の目的って何なんだ？
私は吸血鬼を追ってるだけよ。吸血鬼殺しが私の役割だから。
ああ、確かにそんなことを言ってた。けど、お前は吸血鬼なんだろ？
何？仕切ったらまだ私のこと信じてないの？
I mean, it doesn't matter if she's a vampire. Humans kill humans. It's fine.
嫌っていうほど信じてるから安心しろ。俺が言いたいのは、どうして吸血鬼であるお前が吸血鬼を殺すのかってことだ。
あら、四季は同族同士で殺し合うのは嫌いなんだ。
同族じゃなくても願い下げだよ。あのさ、吸血鬼は人間の血を吸う鬼なんだろ？なら殺す対象は人間であって同じ吸血鬼じゃない。お前が殺すのは、その...
If it's blood you're after, then wouldn't it make more sense to target humans?
吸血行為と殺害行為は別物よ。ま、それでも四季の言いたいことはわかるわ。同じ種族同士、助け合うべきだって言うんでしょ？けど、吸血鬼は同じ親から派生したものであっても、それぞれ異なる進化を遂げた固有種のようなものだから、人間でいうところの仲間意識は希薄なのよ。
じゃあそのお前が探している吸血鬼はお前とは違うっていうのか？
ええ、私とは別種の吸血種。私が追いかけているのは人間の吸血鬼だから、あなたたちが抱くイメージとほぼ一緒よ。人間の血を吸って吸い殺した人間を使い魔にして少しずつ勢力を増やしていくってやつ。朝の使者覚えてるでしょ？あれが吸血鬼に殺された人間の末路。人間として死んだのにまだ死にきれず生かされているリビングデッド。
死んだのに生かされている。
Kinda spooky. The corpses that appeared in the alleyway. According to legends about vampires, people whose blood has been sucked become new vampires and attack people. As they keep doing this and growing their numbers, they eventually turn the entire village into a land of death. Or so it goes.
ええ、この町に潜んでいるのはそういう吸血鬼。私は血を吸うことに執心はないし、彼らの仲間でもない。だから互いに殺し合うことに問題は発生しない。
Etiquette says this matter-of-factly. It appears that there are many different types of vampires.
今更でゾッとするんだけど、そいつをやっつけるから俺に盾になれなんてことを言ってやがったのか？
ええ、初めはそのつもりだったわ。あなたなんて嫌がっても盾にしてやる。逃げても鎖で縛り付けて散々怖がらせて使い切ってやるって。けど、四季と話をしているうちに気が変わっちゃった。
So, she had been planning on resorting to force. Okay, I'll have to make sure to remember that.
気が変わったってなんでだよ。
私の勘違いだったから。私ね、四季。あなたに殺されて復元するまでの間、あなたは教会の人間だと思っていたの。それなら敵の居場所を掴んでいる可能性もあるし、戦力としても期待できるなって。 なのに仕切ったらまるっきり普通の人なんだもん。敵の棺の場所はおろか、吸血鬼のことをまるで知らないし。そもそもあの連中がこんな無神論者の国に代行者を派遣するわけがないし、そもそも一人じゃ動かないものね。師匠と弟子のツーマンセルがあいつらの基本だったわ。
Etiquette is off mumbling to herself. The conversation seems to have gone off the rails a bit, but I'm just happy not to be the subject anymore.
とにかく私の標的はあなたから吸血鬼に戻ったってこと。それはそれでちょっと残念な気もするけど。
Her voice is sprightly, but her words are disturbing. Damn. She still has it out for me, doesn't she? Even though it's natural for her to hate me after what I did, it's not good for my heart to hear her say, I want to kill you with a smile. Seems like she really is planning on killing me the moment I let my guard down.
真面目な話は終わり？じゃ、ベッドにドーン！
は？
And then, with a spring in her step, she strolls over to the bed and flops down onto it.
気持ちもいいし、日が沈むまで眠るね。
Okay.
あ、式も今のうちに休んでおいた方がいいよ。吸血鬼は昼間活動できないから、本格的に見張りをしてもらうのは夜になるんだし。
お前、今自分の存在を全面否定するようなことを言ったって分かってるか？
私はいいの。と、そろそろ限界みたい。それじゃあおやすみなさい、式。日が沈んだら起こしてね。
おい
Etiquette suddenly falls asleep like a car that's had its engine turned off.
マジか。
Unbelievable. She's really asleep. I feel like an idiot for spending the entire time hovering by the door in case I needed to make a run for it. Is this okay? I know it's not for me to say, but is she really fine with this? I was dragged here more or less against my will. I could easily make my escape right now. No. What's more, even though I don't have the same urges I had back then.
俺は一度お前を殺しているんだぞ。
How is she still able to sleep so casually? I guess she trusts you. What? There we go. I stare at Etiquette's face. Judging by the gentle rise and fall of her well-rounded chest, it seems she's still breathing. She lies on the bed, her body perfectly still. She looks like a work of art in repose. Softly closed eyelids, long eyelashes, and pretty lips that look vibrant even without lipstick. Fucking hell, Shiki. The swell of her chest is very shapely. The line of her hips is like a hill disappearing into the horizon. Her smooth and slender legs are stretched out across the bed. Demure yet sensual, such contradictory words came to mind. A woman like that is fast asleep and defenseless in this royal suite. I've only known her for a short time, and yet she trusts me, the person who brutally killed her, in the bottom of her heart.
バカだな、こいつ。
Yeah. She's so stupidly honest that it's enough to make you worry for her. In any case, this is a critical juncture. This may be the final crossroads where Tonoshiki has a chance to turn back. She said she'll make me be her shield, but do I run away? I think I have to run away. I've had enough of all this, I'll run away. Yeah. I will run away! I still want to continue living in a proper, respectable world. I do feel responsible for killing Etiquette, but that doesn't mean I think it's fair to be forced into doing something I can't do. Etiquette is asleep. I've already killed her once, and yet she puts her trust in me and is dozing peacefully.
くそ、
Even so, I'm not sure I'm up to it. I have no reason to be here. No reason to believe that I can be of any help. If I want to return to Tonoshiki's reality, I'm not going to get another chance. Oh. Goodbye! The corridor is dead silent. I could rented out all of the rooms on the top floor, so she and I are the only ones up here. I still feel a lingering sense of hesitation. But I shake it off and press the button for the elevator. I catch a train from the hotel back to the city. The time is just past noon. Even if I headed to school now, I doubt I'd make it there in time for 5th period. On the other hand, if I go back to the mansion, crawl into bed and fall asleep, I can forget about everything. For some reason, I don't feel like going back to the mansion. I decide to head to the park to cool my head for a bit. Okay? You do you, bro. What if she yells you? A sigh escapes my lips. I sit down on a bench and stare up at the sky in a daze. A grey sky. The cloudy, overcast weather perfectly reflects my own mental state. I wonder if she's still asleep, believing in me. No, I killed her. She said she forgave me. She said she forgave me, so... What the hell am I doing here? Last night, I acknowledged my mistake in Senpai's room and vowed to make amends in my own way. Is that a vow I could break if my life were in danger, I wonder? But I don't want to just throw my life away. This is a problem that I will struggle with for as long as I live. It's not something that can be resolved by a moment of contrition. That power belongs to you alone. That's the reason why you must never forget. I recall some very important words someone said to me long ago. What words did Sensei leave me with again? I can still make it. The sun hasn't set yet. If I return to the hotel before the sun goes down, I can still start over. I can't shake off my doubts. In the end, What do I do? I'll go back to hotel. Okay, I'll go back to hotel, apparently. Do save, just in case. Never know. There we go. Go back to hotel. I can't shake off my doubts. Sensei told me something once. I'm not asking you to be a saint. You can be the person you think is right. I know I'm not thinking straight at the moment, but I can't betray her trust. Etiquette may not be human, but she still believed in me. She forgave Tonoshiki's unforgivable sin with a smile on her face. If she can do that, then I should be ashamed of myself as a human being if I don't return that smile as I offer up my own life. I smack myself sharply on my cheeks and contemplate my next move. I get up from the bench. I'm not headed to school or the mansion. With all doubts gone from my mind, I start to jog back towards the hotel. Okay. I return to the hotel, just barely making it back before the sun sets. I sneak back inside, treading lightly so as not to make any noise. If Etiquette is still asleep, then I shouldn't run into any problems. Oh, wow, kombinis are pretty good. As you can see, she's already awake and fuming with anger. This is bad. This is really bad. It'll be clear to any onlooker that... to any onlooker that Mademoiselle is furious. Why Mademoiselle? The Etiquette before me now is the one that made such a fearsome scene in the alleyway earlier. I may have surreptitiously run away, but I came back, didn't I? I shudder to think what sort of iron-fisted punishment I'm in for now. If she's uncareful, she'll split the whole hotel in half. It's already too late to try and explain myself, but if I end up getting killed without even attempting to, that would be even more shameful than having run away in the first place. So I'll do my best to make excuses. Except... This isn't how I expected things to go.
日が落ちたから目を覚ましてみれば仕切ったらいないんだもの。トイレにはいないし、ロビーで食事をとっているのかなって様子を見に行っても姿がないし。一体どこに行ってたのよ、あなたは。
Etiquette is definitely angry, but it doesn't seem like her anger stems from thinking I betrayed her.
いや、ちょっとホテルの外に出てたというか。
More hydrate.
本気？スカイマンに見つかった以上、式だって安全じゃないのよ。むやみに外に出て行って、またあの黒豹に襲われたらどうするつもりだったの？
I'm stunned. Etiquette isn't angry about the fact that I wasn't here. The thought that I might betray her and run away didn't even cross her mind. She's angry because she was worried about me putting myself in danger by blithely wandering around on my own. I'm ashamed. I was so close to trampling on her good intentions.
ちょっとシキ、私の話聞いてる？
I am.
ああ、聞いてる。そうだな。俺が悪かった。勝手に出て行って、ごめん。
I bow my head sincerely.
そんなに真剣に謝ってもらうことじゃないけど。とにかく、シキは無防備すぎるわ。相手は吸血鬼なんだから、もっと気を引き締めるべきよ。それとも何？もしかして破滅願望でもあるの？自分から殺されに行くとか、私を怒らせるとか。そういうことなら規定状態と霊気状態をコンマで繰り返す人間の言葉じゃ表現できないぐらいの極限空間に叩き込んであげましょうか。
She says something so terrifying in such a benevolent manner.
なわけあるか。あとな、それただの地獄だから。人間の言語表現なめるなバカ。だいたい無防備なのはそっちだって同じだろ。俺は一度はお前を殺してるんだぞ。そんな俺を見張り番にして眠るなんてどうかしてる。今回だってそうしなかったとは限らないじゃないか。
As you can see, Etiquette is shocked. It's as if she's only now considering that possibility.
そういえばそうよね。なんでだろう。なんとなくね、路地裏で式と話しているうちに信用しきってたみたい。
You're too trusting. Well, I appreciate her saying that, I guess.
そうか。そこまで信用されてるんなら、それなりに努力はする。あとはずっと見張っていればいいのか。
ええ、とりあえず朝日が昇るまでね。私は部屋から出ないから、式は誰かがこのフロアにやってくるようだったら用心して。
You say on guard, but it's not as though I'll be much use if something like the Black Panther from this morning appears. I'm painfully aware that this sort of responsibility is well beyond my capabilities, and simply saying Roger, that isn't going to suddenly make me fit for guard duty. Step back for a second and examine what we know before going any further. We need to have some way of dealing with things like the Black Panther, with the burning corpses, but I still don't know very much about Etiquette or her enemies.
確認するぞ、アルクレイド。路地裏で襲ってきた奴らは、お前の敵が差し向けたやつなのか？
差し向けたというより巡回ね。一定のルートで街を監視するのがあいつらの役割だったんでしょう。その巡回ルートで私と四季が話し込んでいたから、結果的に私がいるってバレちゃったみたい。
バレちゃったって、お前の敵に？
そう。体調が万全なら手間が省けてよかったんだけど、今の私じゃ逆に倒されかねない。だから四季と一緒にここまで逃げたの。体力が戻る前に襲われたら撃つ手はないから。
So in other words, Etiquette's enemy, the serial killer wreaking havoc in the city, is another vampire just like her. Well, duh! Based on what she said, it sounds like these two vampires are searching for each other's whereabouts. However, they aren't on equal footing, because at the moment, Etiquette is critically weakened.
そして、敵とやらには手足になる部下がいて、お前には誰もいないと。
Etiquette harumphs, scowling in dissatisfaction. She isn't trying to deny it. I guess she really is all on her own. Well, not like that isn't good news for me.
お前、さっき吸血鬼はそれぞれ個体差があるって言ってたけど、じゃあ、仲間がたくさんいる吸血鬼ってのはどんなやつなんだ？
それは、どうすれば簡単に説明できるかな。
Etiquette casts her eyes around the room as she tries to think of something. It seems like she's not used to talking to people.
いいよ、難しいままで。話せることなら何でもいいから話してくれ。俺も訳がわからないけど、なんとか話の筋を見極めるから。
そう？ありがとう、四季。
はいはい。お礼はいいから続けてくれ。
Etiquette just nods happily in response.
仲間がたくさんいると言っても何パターンかあるんだけど、この町に潜んでいる人は古いタイプの吸血鬼よ。
Okay.
教会風に言うなら上司の吸血鬼ね。この上司は段階に分けて村や町を侵していくわ。まずは初手、進行1。能力的に優れた人間を見繕ってその血を吸ってしもべにする。吸血鬼に血を吸われた人間は死んで上司の操り人形になるけど、人間だった頃のパーソナリティも残している。要は人格の残った死体ね。使徒の改定で言うと3段階目の上級の使い魔ってところ。
Great. She's only just gotten started and I'm already lost. It's a good thing I caught some sleep as well. My mind's refreshed and ready. I'm just going to skip over the words I don't understand and ask about the parts that I do.
人格の残った死体。要は人間のまま吸血鬼になるってこと。
3回転じゃ吸血鬼とは言えないかな。人間以上の体になったけど、まだ子を作ることはできない働きありの司令塔ぐらいと思って。
じゃあ路地裏で出てきたやつらは？
あれはもう一個下、2回転目の式。人間への擬態もできない、命じられたことをこなすだけの労働力よ。
Etiquette seems to have gotten really into it and starts explaining the various vampire stages using a diagram. She sure is strangely versatile.
都市の人間をある程度の数しもべにした上司は棺を用意して眠りにつく。日中は活動できないし、何より上司の吸血鬼は活動するだけで目立つから、食料の備蓄、勢力拡大はしもべたちに任せるの。かくして3階程より上のしもべたちは人間に期待して少しずつ他の人間たちを捕食していく。
I see.
人間の血肉はしもべたちの活動源にもなるけど、その大半は上司に送られる。上司は棺で眠ったまま力を蓄え、最後にはコミュニティごと自分の血肉に変えてしまう。これがこの町に潜んでいるものの特性よ。今はまだしもべの数が少ないから大した能力はないんだけど、犠牲者が増えれば増えた分だけ上司の力は増していく。その前に棺を見つけて倒してしまえばいいんだけど、私はまだ敵の寝床さえ見つけられていない。今回はよっぽど巧妙に隠れてるのか、気配さえ感じない。寝床を見つけちゃえば片付けるのは簡単なんだけどね。今回は手がかりがない状態だから、仕方なく昼間から街を歩いて調べていたの。そうしていたら通りすがりの殺人鬼に襲われちゃって、まあ大変。
It is what it is. She claps her hands together, smiling at me. Glacia's knife man. It seems that she's taking a dig at said murderer. It doesn't feel great.
なるほど。とりあえず話は見えてきた。この町には人間を食い物にする化け物が救っていて、アルクエイドはそれを退治しに来た。けどそいつの居場所を探している時に、俺にやられちまって、今は弱っているから回復するまで隠れてる。
簡単にまとめるとそういうことかな。
じゃあ次、その敵とやらは何だってそんな回りくどいことをするんだ。しもべなんか作らずに全部一人でやればいいじゃないか。
単純に弱いからよ。どれほどの懲罰能力、どれほどのライフスケールを持った吸血鬼でも一人では生きられない。弱点が多い彼らは決して表舞台に長居はしない。だから脆弱だけど弱点の少ない人間を使い魔にして安全圏から血を集める。言ってしまうとリスク回避ね。
弱点が多いね。具体的には？
日の光、魔力枯渇が主だけど、最大の弱点はそうね、敵が多いということかしら。
敵が多い？それはお前みたいな。
私は例外というか特例よ。吸血鬼はね、人間に嫌われているの。人間の最大の武器は数と共有でしょ。いるのよ、世界には吸血鬼が事件を起こせば駆けつけてくる吸血鬼を殺すことだけを目的とした人間が。特に陰湿で執念深いのが教会。西欧を中心にした宗教の異端狩り。主の意志を人の手で代行するなんてお題目から代行者と呼ばれているわ。もう何百年も使徒を殺す技術を磨いてきた人間たちでね、こいつらは下手な吸血鬼より厄介よ。だから吸血鬼は一旦隠れるの。いちいち相手をしていたら血も集まらないし、何より封印される危険性があるから。
Oh, heresy. Heresy hunters of the church. I guess it's kind of like the witch hunters and inquisitors from the Middle Ages? These hunters must be real anti-vampire specialists if the vampires feel the need to go into hiding. Still...
一旦隠れる。つまり、血をたくさん集めてしまえば隠れる必要はない。
そうよ。力さえつけてしまえば隠れる必要はない。教会の代行者たちがやってこようと後の祭り。吸血鬼はその町で貯めた資産で暴虐の限りを尽くす。 そうして町を完全に食い物にした後、また新しい狩り場を求めて移動する。あなたたち人間が吸血鬼を排除したかったら、それは事件が起きる前に気づくしかない。吸血鬼事件なんてものが起きた時点で、その町は根元から腐っている。式には悪いけど、もう何人ものしもべが徘徊しているこの町は、あなたたち人間の手では回復できない状況よ。
Etiquette's explanation goes in through one ear and out the other. I understand what she's saying, but accepting it is a whole different story. Even if she says that it's too late to save our city, there's no way I could just say, oh, okay, and accept it like that. And besides...
やっぱり俺には信じられない。
何よ、私が式を騙してるって言いたい。
いや、そうじゃないよ。アルクエイドの話は全部本当だってわかる。お前、嘘とかつけないだろ。
当たり前じゃない。その必要性がないんだもの。
だからさ、俺はお前が信じられないじゃなくて、吸血鬼ってものがわからないんだよ。気軽に吸血鬼と言うけど、まだピンとこない。確かにお前は人間じゃない。それだけはわかる。でもだからって吸血鬼とか言われても実感が湧かないんだ。
そういえばそうね。シキの知ってる吸血鬼像と私という吸血鬼像は大きく違うし。
ああ、そういうことだ。俺は吸血鬼なんてものが本当にいるってことより、吸血鬼がこんなやつだなんて想像もしなかった。古いタイプとか言われてもお手上げだ。お前とそいつらの違いもわからない。
That's right. I shouldn't even be talking to her if I don't know that difference. I can't just trust her for no reason. I mean, there's the possibility that she's actually more dangerous than that suzerain vampire.
そっか。人間から見ればそうよね。どっちも未知ならどっちも同じくらい危険に見えるってことか。いいわ。それじゃあ今回はさらに特別授業。
Just like school.
吸血鬼基礎編について教えてあげましょう。
Etiquette is proudly holding her finger aloft.
いいけどさ、なんだよその基礎編って。
式は素人だから、吸血鬼なら子猫でも知っているようなことから始めないといけないでしょ。だから基礎編。大丈夫。先輩としてバシッと教えてあげるから。
I don't trust those hands one bit. Also, wait, if we're only now about to cover the fundamentals, then what was all that?
はあ、OK。とりあえず手短に頼むよ。
任せて。できる限り努力するわ。
For some reason, I have a hard time believing that. I already said something like this earlier, but it seems that Etiquette isn't used to having conversations. Well, she does call herself a vampire, so maybe she's never had a chance to talk to a human before. I look at my watch and see that it's just before midnight. I'm surprised that we've already been chatting this long, but luckily it's not like I have anywhere to be. About vampires.
まずは種類分けね。一般に吸血鬼とは言うけど、大きく2つのものに分けられるわ。
Okay.
元から吸血鬼だったものと、後から吸血鬼になったもの。
Born and turned. Okay.
前者を神祖と言って、後者を使徒と呼ぶの。
It's true.
あなたたちが吸血鬼と呼んでいるのは使徒の方。さっきの海底の話も使徒の生態系ね。人間の血を吸い、しもべにして、太陽の光に弱く、洗礼儀式の前に敗退する。私たちの敵も使徒と区別される吸血鬼よ。
At some point, she switched from saying my enemy to our enemy. I wanted to point this out, but under the circumstances, it's not wrong, so I'll let it slide.
その使徒ってのは初めから吸血鬼じゃないって言ったけど、それはどういうことだ？
使徒は人間とか動物とか、とにかくもともとは吸血種ではなかった者たちよ。魔術の果てに不老になった者か、血を吸われてしもべになった者とがいる。まあどっちの場合も結果は同じだけど、吸血鬼になった者は不完全ながらも不老不死の肉体を手に入れて人間のカテゴリーから外されるの。
Most powerful. Dangerous. So there are two types of vampires. The true ancestors who were vampires from the very beginning, and dead apostles who are humans that were turned into vampires. But something doesn't add up. I feel like there's a discrepancy or structural inconsistency somewhere in what she said.
ねえシキ、あなたは吸血鬼の特徴をどのくらい知ってるの？
None at all, apparently.
ありきたりのイメージしか持ってないよ。処女の血を吸ったり、睨むだけで金縛りにしたり、霧になったり、狼に変わったりする。
大体は合ってるかな。処女の血を吸うというのは、まだ他の人間と体液の交換をしていない血液が彼らの遺伝子を補うのに適しているから。通常の血液より栄養がある程度の違いね。使徒、後天的に吸血鬼になったものは不完全な不老不死なの。確かに不老で死ににくい動的な細胞を持つ生命体に変貌した。けどそれは燃え盛る火のようなもので、エネルギーを常に補充しないと消えてしまう。どんな生物だって栄養を取らないと活動できないでしょ。それと同じよ。ただ吸血種は食事、栄養さえ取り続けていれば寿命がないということだけ。使徒たちのような吸血鬼になった吸血鬼はね、自分が生きていくのに必要だから血を吸うの。もともとは人間だったから不老不死の肉体というのは無理があるのよ。彼らの肉体を構成する遺伝子は長生きすればするほど、力をつければつけるほど原子の増大に耐えられなくなる。力を増やし続けないと崩壊してしまうくせに、力をつけすぎると自己の形、それを補うためにはどうするか。簡単よ。他から自分のような異常な秩序ではない正常な秩序を取り込んで、失われていく秩序を補完していけばいい。人間が食事に有機化合物を好むのと一緒。吸血鬼は血液からその正常な遺伝情報やカロリーを採集する。魂の熱量と言い換えてもいいわ。要は人間の血を吸ってその遺伝情報を取り込むことで自身の肉体を固定してるってこと。使徒にとって吸血は食事や力のプールであるのと同時に存在のために必要不可欠な行為なの。
This is complicated. Not to mention long. Despite the fact that I'm barely keeping up with these explanations, Etiquette continues to plow on without a care.
で、次は睨むだけで金縛りにするってやつね。
Yes, yes, Mr. Guys.
これは魔眼の一種よ。眼球は便利で強力な魔術回路だから魔眼を持つ吸血種は多いわ。指向性の魔力放出機能が分かりやすいかな。目からそうね、ビームっていうの？ああいうのを出すイメージ。
出るのかビーム
I involuntarily jerk forward at the mention of such a ludicrous word.
出ないと思う。 いくらなんでもそんな意味不明な吸血鬼はいないと思う。あくまでイメージ。
You
イメージの
never
話
know,
ね。
there could be. I see. That's both good and disappointing.
っていうか、魔眼ってなんだよ。
特別な目のこと。魔術回路を使用してシングルアクションの魔術を放出する異能。まあ技術みたいなものね。ほら、人間には剣術とかあるでしょ。あれと同じ。いろいろな種類があるけど、使徒であれば誰でも使える技法みたいなものよ。もっとも鍛えたところで威力は術者の個体差、才能に左右されるけどね。私たち吸血鬼が持つのは魅惑の魔眼。これが基本にして最も強力というか、吸血鬼というあり方において魅惑以外の魔眼はあんまり意味がないというか。魅惑の魔眼は見た相手を魅惑するんじゃなくて、吸血鬼の目を見てしまった相手を魅惑するの。強力な吸血鬼は魔眼で相手の脳に意志を叩きつけて、その思考を完全に掌握するんだけど、まあそこまでの魔眼を保持する人は稀かな。
So they function kinda like brainwashing or hypnosis. You could order someone to forget what you saw here, for example. If you had eyes like those, you could easily cover up a murder, even if there were witnesses.
理屈はさておいて、要は目を見たらまずいってこと。
よくできました。だから吸血鬼と向かい合った時は顔じゃなくて全体を俯瞰するのが基本よ。相手と目線を合わせるなんて自殺行為だからね。次は霧になるだっけ。これも2種類に分類されるかな。高等なのは本当に粒子化するもの。自己を拡散させて現象になるという離れ技。これが広範囲かつ長時間できる人は数えるほどしかいないはず。で、下等なのは目くらましね。影武者の方が分かりやすいかな。用心深い吸血鬼は分身を作って、それに意識を乗せて活動する。用が済んだら分身を操る魔力をカットするんだけど、それが塵になって無産することから霧になって消えたように見えるだけ。
I see. Kagemusha means shadow warrior, right? This foreigner. No, this foreign vampire knows a surprising amount about Japanese culture. Oh yes, culture.
狼になる。他の動物に変わるっていうのは破損した肉体を使いまで補っている副産物ね。長い年月を生きた吸血鬼ほど崩壊する肉体の保管は通常の命では間に合わない。だから力のある獣を取り込んでそれを体として使っている。必要な時はその獣を元に戻して刺激するから、狼になった、狼を出したように見える。使徒たちは命のリペアとして古い獣を1匹ぐらいは体に取り込んでいる。けどそれが限界。あんまり多く取り込むと今度は吸血鬼の自我が獣と混濁してしまう。使徒の中でも複数の獣を使い魔にしているやつは1人だけ。そいつももう消えたけど。こんなところかな。
Nice, school done.
式が一体名詞をもとにざっと概要だけを説明したけど、吸血鬼がどんなものか分かってもらえた？乱暴なまとめだけど、とにかく人の形をした人と同じ地勢構造をした吸血種を吸血鬼と呼ぶの。その中身がどれだけ異物でも基本形態が人なら吸血鬼として問題ないわ。
Was she? Okay. If anything, I'm getting more and more confused. I understand how monstrous these so-called vampires can be, but that's why I can't believe that the woman in front of me is one of them.
じゃあ次は私の番ね。実を言うと、私も大事なことを聞き忘れてた。
なんだよ。俺に聞くようなことは何もないだろう。俺は吸血鬼でも何でもない。ただの学生なんだから。
ふん。それじゃあ聞くけどシキ、あなたどうやって私を殺したの？
は？
だからどんな手段を使ったのかって聞いてるの。ルーンやカバラあたりの秘術には抗体ができているから効かないし、抗体耐性ができてないもの。私がまだ経験したことのない魔術となると、この国の古神道と南米の秘宝ぐらいのものよ。いえ、それだってあそこまで私を殺しておくことはできない。答えてシキ、あなたどんな年代物の神秘で私を再起不能にしてくれたの？
A fruit knife.
いや、年代物の神秘って。
I can tell that Etiquette is being serious, but I don't understand a single thing she just said.
だから概念武装のことよ。歴史と想念を蓄えた触媒。この国にも神器ってあるんでしょ？大抵は宝条や剣、宝石や仮面を使用する魔術霊装のことだけど。ねえシキ、あなた本当にそっちの方面の人じゃないの？
そっち方面も何も、俺はただの学生だって言ったじゃないか。
嘘よ。魔術師でもない人間が私を傷つけることなんてできないわ。
Well, I did.
私に隠していることあるでしょ。
Etiquette glares at me like an angry cat. She can glare at me all she wants, but it's not like I'm hiding anything. Wait, there is something.
すまん。実を言うと一つあったっぽい。けど関係あるのかな、これ。
Etiquette continues to glower at me. She isn't going to back down unless I tell her everything.
なんて言ったらいいのかな。俺さ、物の切れる線が見えるんだよ。
切れる線？
That's about the reaction I'd expect. I believe something like that. In fact, I don't think a single person I've told ever has.
それ、どういう意味？
However, Etiquette's reply seems completely serious.
だから、物の切れる線が見えるんだよ、俺。生き物とか地面とか、とりあえず触れられるものなら全部。亀裂みたいでさ、それに刃物を通すとあっさり切断できるんだけど、これ意味あるか？鉄をナイフ程度で切れるのは便利だけど、別に好きなところが切れるわけじゃないんだ。線が見えてるところしか切れないから、日曜大工にも使えない。お前を切った時だって、そのナイフなら女の肌ぐらい切れるだろう。
A chill runs down my spine. She's staring at me so intensely that I almost forgot how to breathe. Why are you staring back?
直視の魔眼なんて童話の中だけの話と思ってたけど、いるところにはいるものね。あなたみたいな突然変異の化け物が。
なんだよそれ。俺は吸血鬼に化け物なんて言われる筋合いはないぞ。
化け物は化け物でしょ。物の死を見る魔眼なんて私たちでさえ保有している者はいないんだから。
物の死を見る？
それ以外の何だっていうの？シキ、あなたの目は生物としてつながってはいけない場所と回線が開いているんでしょうね。その目は生まれついてのものなの？
いや、こうなったのは昔からだけど、生まれついてのものじゃない。
それじゃあ以前 一度ぐらい死んでみたことがあるでしょ。
お前じゃあるまいし、そう簡単に死ねるか。でもまあそうだよ。以前事故で死にかけた。線が見えるようになったのはその後からだ。
潜在的な素質もあったんだろうけど、きっかけはそれでしょうね。直視の魔眼か。確かにそれなら間違いなく私を殺せるわ。
Etiquette pouts haughtily and averts her gaze. I'm glad she did. She'd been staring at me with visible disgust in her eyes.
アルクエイド、お前この線が何だか知ってるのか？
実際に知覚できるあなたほどじゃないけど、知識としてなら説明できるわ。あなたが見ているものはね、万物の結果、ものの死にやすい箇所なのよ。もっと分かりやすく言うのなら、あらゆる存在の死そのものよ。
That's subtly different, but close enough of what Sensei taught me when I received those glasses from her as a child. The conclusion of all things, their future. Without even realizing what I was doing, I spent all this time desperately trying not to be conscious of them.
何言ってんだ。俺が見てる線なんて、ただそこが切れるだけのものじゃないか。
だからその線が死なの。いい意識、ありとあらゆるものには終わりがある。それがいつになるかは個別差があるけど、とにかく果てというものはある。死は到来するものではなく、誕生した瞬間に内包していて、いつか発現するものよ。それが原因と結果。因果律って言葉聞いたことあるでしょ。ここにある以上、それは必ず消えなくてはいけない。原子の流動、エネルギーの約束事ね。たった一つの例外、ほんの小さな間違いも秩序は許容しない。だってそんなものがあったら、この宇宙の前提が崩れてしまうんだもの。それこそ泡のように消えてしまうわ。
Okay, even if all that were true, isn't talking about the death of the universe blowing things out of proportion a bit?
見当違いじゃない。あなたの目はそれぐらい最悪な目ってこと。いい？消滅は万物にあらかじめ設計された決まりなの。どんなに長い寿命、どんなに強大な生命にだってこれはある。たとえ宇宙の寿命より長い寿命を持つ生命があるとしても、それは無限に生き続けるわけじゃない。この定められた消滅がものの式。で、それは初めからあるわけだから、式という概念を理解できる機能、それと回線が合っている脳髄と眼球があるのなら、目で見ることは不可能じゃない。それがあなたの見ている線の正体よ。あえてあなたたち風に理論づけるのなら、原子結合の宿命的欠陥部分というところかしらね。それともその個体の死因を発現させる遺伝子に用意されたテロメア的なスイッチかな。とにかくあなたが見ているのは、ものの死にやすい線、死という結論そのものよ。よくそんな状態で今まで生きてこれたものだわ。よっぽどあなたは心が穏やかなんでしょうね。
Etiquette's statement is blunt. I can't believe that she's really this insensitive. Even though I understand her explanation, I don't want to acknowledge any part of it.
そんなものあるはずがないし、まして見えるわけがない。
あなたには見えてるじゃない。普通、生物は首を切ったら殺されるわ。これは切断したから停止したということよね。逆に言えば、首を切断できない生物は殺されないということになる。あ、これは私のことだから例外にしておいて。あなたはその決まり事を無視できるのよ。あらゆる外的要因を無効化するものが相手でも、まず殺す。殺された相手はその後で死んだ状態になるんでしょうね。 切断したから殺害できたじゃない。あなたの場合は物を殺害したからその結果として対象が切断される。ほら、これが化け物でなくて何だというの。物が切れるだけの線って言うけど、その両目は今まで生まれてきたどんな異能より得意なものよ。あなたはね、シキ、あらゆるものを殺してしまう死神みたいな目を持っているんだから。
She's right. I've made it all this way by trying not to be aware of this, by not acknowledging it. But the truth is that I've known this for a very long time. Just as Etiquette said, these eyes and this life can't be anything more than a mistake as far as the world is concerned. Because ever since that day, I've been shown the end of the world. I've been forced to grapple with the possibility that everything could fall apart at any second. And as long as I'm alive, I'm surrounded by it. Smothered by those portents of death.
じゃあ、何か。俺はお前だって殺せることになるぞ。何でも殺す。物騒なやつなんだからな。
そう？じゃあ試しにやってみよっか。
Etiquette turns off all the lights and walks over to the window. Ooh, pretty outside. She opens the curtains. The previously hidden profusion of lights and details comes into view. The moonlight streaming through the window casts the shadow of a pale figure.
ほら、いいから本気になってみて。あ、もしかしてそのメガネで見えないようにしてるの？
いいんだな。
There's no way. I place a hand on my glasses. I've never taken them off in front of anyone else before. I guess I've given into despair after suffering Etiquette's indictments. I need to hydrate. It's been a while. Spurred on by my violent feelings, I take off my glasses. Lines squirm their way across the room. The world brims with death. What I see before me is a miracle that makes me doubt my own eyes. The white moon hangs in the sky outside the window. The lines, which are hard to see under the harsh light of the sun, are more than just visible under the faint illumination of the moon. They're almost radiant. But among them, the lines on Etiquette's body are so thin and insubstantial that I can barely see them. I have to squint and pay close attention to make them out at all.
そんな、どうして？
どう？線はほとんど見えないでしょ？私ね、夜は四季のない生き物なの。だからあなたの目でも殺すことは不可能でしょうね。それでもちょっとは見えちゃうのかな。夜は死なない私だけど、昼間は多少の四季ができてしまう。その弱点を突かれて私はあなたに殺された。あの時は大仕事の後だったし、即死体制も落ちてたしね。結果、私はあなたに殺されて、この通り夜でも四季ができるほど弱ってしまった。要するに不老不死で亡くなったわけだけど、四季、私の体の線が切れる？
I'm not really sure. It's true that I can cut anything that has a line running across it. Even so, I don't think I'd be able to cut them as deftly as I did back then, running them through in under a second.
やりにくいと思う。線が見えたり見えなかったりするから、アルクエイドが眠ってでもいない限り。
でしょ？それがあなたの最大の欠点ね。どんなに死が見えていようとも、その線を引くのは四季自身の腕じゃないといけない。いくら私が弱ってるからって四季に捕まるほど運動能力は低下してないもの。
I see. As she says, there's no way I'd be able to keep up with a nimble animal, much less catch one. And I can't lay a finger on their lines if I can't even catch them in the first place. To sum it up, even if I can see these lines, it doesn't mean that I can kill a moving target. The fear that had gripped me lessens somewhat at these words, and I'm able to laugh off my inhuman nature. Yeah, it's just a funny story. A joke that brings me a sense of comfort. No matter what metaphors or shortcomings I'm taught, the world that I've been looking at my whole life will not change. In this world, I'm a defective part that mustn't be allowed to join in with the others. Even so, there's no way I can spare any thoughts for such ordinary concerns. Not with an unimaginable sight like this before me. A beautiful flower suffused with moonlight. Yeah. I don't want eternity, or anything like that. But the thought of something in this world that even I can touch. I want to live holding on to that hope. I feel the sudden twinge of a headache. Looking at all these lines gives me a headache. I put on my glasses and the miraculous scene before me fades back to reality. Etiquette is eyeing me suspiciously.
なんだよ。まだ何かあるのか。
そうじゃなくて、そのメガネをかけていれば線は見えないの？
まあ、そうだけど。昔俺の目がこうなった時に出会った人がくれたんだ。今じゃレンズだけしか使ってないけど、これのおかげでなんとか普通に生活が送れてるんだよ。
そっか、そうよね。どんなに強い心があったって、死とずっと向き合っていたら発狂するか、眼球を潰すしかないものね。
あのな、さっきから言いたい放題物騒なことばっかり言いやがって。少しは遠慮してくれ。あと近い。止まれ。いいからそこで止まれ。
Sensing danger, I back away. However, my threat was entirely ineffective against the big cat in front of me, and Etiquette continues to prowl nearer with a keen curiosity.
ねえ、それ見せて。
嫌だ。これは大事なものだから渡さない。
別に壊したりしないってば。ねえねえ、本当に見るだけだからいいでしょ。
What kind of stupid proposal is that? Wait, what? I think I have to refuse. Refuse! How suspicious. Her specifying that she's not going to break them feels extremely suspicious.
見るだけでもダメ。路地裏の時にお前のバカ力は思い知らされたからな。何かの弾みで握りつぶされたらどうしようもない。
何よバカ力って。路地裏の時は当然でしょ。そういう風に力を上げていたんだから。普段であれば式の方が力は上だろうし、そうむやみに物を壊したりはしないんだけどな。
As Etiquette says that, she reaches out her hand as though to take off my glasses. Her behavior is only getting more and more suspicious. Sus. Those are the eyes of someone who's definitely up to something. Before Etiquette has the chance to pull anything, I leap away from her and go sit down on the couch.
逃げた。
そりゃ逃げる。お前の無茶には慣れつつあるけど、このメガネだけは渡さないからな。万が一にも壊されたりしたら替えがないんだ。それとも弁償してくれるのか。
大抵の魔術品なら当てがあるけど、それはちょっと無理っぽい感じ。 わかりましたよーと式のケチ。
It seems she's just curious about things that people hold dear. What is she, a child?
はいはい、ケチですよだ。人間は生き返ったりできないから何事も慎重なんです。だいたいこのメガネがなくなったら俺はお前に協力するどころの話じゃなくなる。四六時中線が見えてたら頭痛で頭がどうにかしそうだし。
ふん、死が見えてると脳に負担がかかるのかしらね。式の目は何かと原因がありそうだけど、とりあえず今はこれぐらいかな。機会があったらもう少し詳しく教えてあげるわ。
結構だよ。あいにく長話は嫌いでね。
そう？私は誰かと話すのって好きだけどな。意図が半分も伝わらない不自由な言葉でもこんなに心が揺れるんだもの。
Etiquette gives me a carefree smile. It seems as though she really was having fun simply talking with me. Strange. The night is drawing to a close. Etiquette is perched on the edge of the bed. Meanwhile, I'm sitting on the sofa, zoning out as I stare at the clock. The time is a little after 4 in the morning. There's only about an hour left before dawn.
あと1時間か。
Nothing unusual has happened so far, and Etiquette herself shows no signs of being nervous. The hotel is peaceful to a fault. I was honestly a little on edge because of how quiet everything was. But in the end, it seems as though I was worried over nothing. I'm not sure why, but I get the feeling that tonight will continue to slip away uneventfully.
ねえ、式。
Etiquette calls out to me for the umpteenth time.
なんだよ。もう話すこととかないからな。
そうなの？せっかくこうしてるのにもったいないね。
あのな、さっきからどれだけおしゃべりに付き合ってると思ってるんだ。6時間だぞ、6時間。何が疲れたかって、見張りなんかよりそっちの方が疲れたよ、俺は。
Etiquette glares at me with displeasure. I'm just stating a fact. For whatever reason, she keeps trying to start up a conversation. I told her that if she's feeling weak, she's better off going to sleep, but
話している方が楽しいから。
she just won't listen to me. So we wound up being conversation partners instead. I really don't understand what goes through her head. So it got us worse. My stomach is growling. Come to think of it, I haven't eaten in close to 24 hours. The last meal I had was breakfast yesterday.
お腹が減っているなら何か食べたら？せっかくホテルに泊まってるんだから、ルームサービスを使えばいいのに。
いい、緊張感がそがれる。そういうお前の方こそ何か食べた方がいいんじゃないか。
式がいいなら私もやめとく。普通の食事もそれなりに意味はあるけど、一人で食べてもつまらないもの。
普通の食事って食事に普通も特別も。
Oh. Right. She doesn't look it at all, but Etiquette is supposedly a vampire. If she is, then sucking human blood would be her way of having a meal. Etiquette said earlier that vampires need human blood in order to survive. If that's true, whose blood has she sucked before and consequently, how many humans has she killed? I steal a glance at Etiquette's face. This is ridiculous. Though she's explained to me numerous times that she's a vampire, I just can't imagine her sucking someone's blood.
何？私の顔になんかついてる？
Panicking, I look away. Etiquette stares intently at my face for a second, then flashes a devious grin in my direction.
気になる？
何が？
私がどのくらいの数、人間から血を吸ったのか。
saw right through me. Etiquette is grinning so broadly that it's starting to make me feel a little uncomfortable. I don't like where this is going. But even so, I can't help but wonder how many people she's killed.
そりゃ気になるよ。俺はお前と協力してるんだ。それぐらい知っとかないと。いつお前が心変わりして襲いかかってくるか予測がつかないだろ。
That's what's really bugging me. Etiquette seems to have understood what I'm saying.
それじゃあ問題。私は今まで何人の血を吸ってきたでしょう。
Etiquette springs off the bed, lands on the floor with a soft thud, and walks over to the window.
何人のって、それは...
Etiquette smirks. It seems she's enjoying watching me struggle to come up with an answer. It's obvious that she's trying to provoke me. Fine. I'll give her a straight answer. We're talking about this weirdo here, so I'm sure that number is... 1,000 billion people! I think this one. 1,000.
10人は少ない。
はい、全然惜しくないはずれね。
じゃあ100単位か。
残念、日和切ったはずれです。
なら1000単位なのか。
はい、それも豪快に外れだわ。
Etiquette makes a strange chuckling sound. It's not like I'm angry or anything, so why do I feel so incredibly frustrated?
じゃあそんなことはないと思うけど、まさか万。
それも外れ。もう10だの100だの1000だのって式は私のことそういう風に見てたわけね。
違うのか。吸血鬼ってのは見境なしなんだろう。人間だって生きてるだけで腹が減るんだ。お前たちだって生きていくために血を吸うんなら際限はないんじゃないのか。
そうね、それはそうなんだけど。私は自分から血を吸うなんてこの800年一度もないかな。普通の人間を殺したことだって一度もないよ。
Even I can tell that that's a pretty strange thing for a vampire to say. More importantly,
それ本当の話か。
本当よ。だって私血を吸うのが怖いんだもの。
血を吸うのが怖いって吸血鬼なのに？
うん。
きっと臆病なのよ。だからいつまで経っても吸血師としても半人前ってこと。
As she mutters those words, Etiquette looks out the window at the night sky. For a long time, the woman in white simply stares up at the sky. Viewed from behind, her figure is as indistinct and hazy as that of a phantom.
そっか。半人前なんだ。
I put a hand on my chest as I mutter those words. This feeling. Am I relieved? I wonder why. It doesn't make any sense.
どうかしたの、シキ？
別に何でもない。お前が臆病なチキンだから笑っただけ。
チキン？私、なんで鳥
Etiquette tilts her head in confusion. You'd never think that she was a vampire based on the way she looks. Of course, it makes total sense. Oh, of course. It makes total sense I'd feel relieved. After all, it's just been made clear that the woman in front of me isn't a bad person after all. Why wouldn't I be relieved? At any rate, if I believe what Etiquette just said, then I don't need to worry about her turning around and killing me out of the blue. That's why I feel safe. Oh, no, go back! I got log. Fuck. I killed the Vtuber studio lighting. Fuck. Give me a sec. There we go. Nope. There we go. Okay. How it's Z. There's no log? I swear there was a log. Whatever. Jeez, what am I thinking? I can't believe my feelings are so out of whack that I'm happy about the fact that Etiquette is a failure as a vampire.
あれ
I'm suddenly struck by a dizzying headache. Maybe I relaxed a little too much while talking with Etiquette. A white haze clouds my vision. This is not the usual chronic anemia. I'm still able to think clearly. I just have a faint headache and a strange chill.
どうしたのよ、シキ。そんなに額に汗を浮かべちゃって。
汗
I put a hand to my forehead to confirm. Etiquette's right. I'm sweating so much when my hand comes away soaked. This is strange. It's not like we're in the sauna, so why am I sweating so heavily? With rising unease in my chest, I look over at the digital clock in the room. The clock reads 4:32 a.m. The temperature has dropped to 11 degrees Celsius, with a morning chill. I shouldn't be sweating nearly this much in this weather. No. Actually, this room feels as hot as a midsummer heat wave.
アルケード、お前暑くないのか？
ん？別に活動に異常をきたすほどの温度じゃないでしょ？まだたったの38度だし。弱っているとはいえ、今の私でも3000度ぐらいまでなら普通だよ。
38? Uh-oh. That was stupid of me to ask. 3000 Celsius? Can you not even burn a vampire with a blowtorch? No, I'll have to save that question for another time. The display on the clock hasn't budged from 11 degrees Celsius. Either the machine is on the fritz or something's wrong with my ability to tell what temperature it is. As I look around the room trying to spot something else with the temperature readout.
なんだあれ
My eyes end up glued to the monitor installed in the room. The one with the video feed of the hotel lobby.
燃えてる
I can't believe my eyes. It's a scene straight out of a movie. The flames splash and spill outwards in waves. A human-shaped figure writhes around, black smoke pouring out of it. A large carnivore is greedily devouring that figure.
アルケード
Etiquette doesn't say a word. Is that hostility? No. Contempt in her eyes? She's staring at the monitor, her emotions totally different to mine. It takes less than a minute for the lobby to sink below the sea of flames. The fire alarms do not ring. The thermometer doesn't rise. I'm still sweating profusely and my throat is parched from just breathing. It doesn't take a genius to work what's going out. It doesn't take a genius to work out what's going on. It's the enemy. Those burning corpses from this afternoon have made their way to this hotel. I run to the window to see what's happening outside. There's no change in the cityscape. Despite the towering flames, none of the people outside seem to have noticed anything out of the ordinary. Nobody's making their way into the hotel, nor is there anyone trying to escape from it.
どうなってるんだアルケード
Etiquette is stubbornly keeping her mouth shut. The second ticks away. The temperature in the room continues to climb. It feels as though my skin is about to roast. I don't know what's going on outside in the corridor. I don't know what's going on downstairs either. All I know is that a niggling voice in the back of my mind is telling me that it's already too late. Etiquette still hasn't said anything. Is she anxious? Or maybe frustrated? She's just standing there motionless, clutching herself as though trying to hold something back. She'd said something about how she wasn't going to leave this room. I'm pretty sure that was her way of saying she's not strong enough to do anything right now. If that's the case, what should I be doing in this situation? Let's leave the room.
Yes.
I take a small deep breath and shake off my doubts. I look around the room for anything I could use as a weapon, but find nothing. Swallowing my hesitation, I take my knife out of my bag and walk over to the door.
四季。
様子を見てくる。俺が戻ってくるまで。
Etiquette seems like she wants to say something, but I brush off her gaze and go into the hallway. The lights in the hallway are off. Something must be wrong with the electrical system. The only thing still lit is the bank of elevators at the end of the hall. My throat hurts even more than it did when I was in the room. The air surrounding me is hot and rough as sandpaper. The hallway is why can't I say it? Frighteningly. I can say it normally. Frightening. Oh wait, what's wrong with my brain? Okay, fuck it. The hallway is frighteningly quiet. Not a single sound can be heard. There are no signs of life at all. There are no bleep running around. No bleep being burned to a crisp. A space so tense and soundless. I almost want to believe that the scene I saw on the monitor wasn't real.
異常はないよな。
I walk down the hallway. The sweat on my forehead coalesces into droplets that roll down my face. It's so oppressively quiet that I start to feel like I'm trespassing. Trespasser. It is customary for vermin that disturb the atmosphere of a place to be crushed. I take another deep breath to calm myself down. My hands are slick with sweat. I adjust my grip on the knife, wrapping my fingers around the handle so it won't slip. I feel nauseous. There's a strange sensation at my temple, as though nerves are reaching out from the back of my eyeballs towards my brain. Are my eyeballs trying to sink into my brain? Or is my brain trying to swallow my eyeballs? Riding down in the dull pain, I continue walking along the scorching path. It hurts. My eyes hurt. My head has grown heavy, and I'm so lightheaded that I could keel over any minute. Yeah, I know this feeling. That's how I always feel right before I collapse from anemia. Uh-oh. It hurts. It hurts so much I can't bear it anymore. And I take off my glasses. The elevators come into view. It's a long hallway. More than 20 meters remain between me and the elevators. They're so far away, I tell myself. Just turn back, I tell myself. For some reason, I feel as though if I go any further, there will be no turning back. Bling! I hear a sound, as if to disturb the peace of this immaculate, lifeless space. The chime of an elevator bell rings. It's so ominous that I stop in my tracks. I can do nothing but stare at the uninvited guest. The floor indicator stops moving. The cab arrives. I can see the lines on the elevator door in the distance. No, it's more like the lines are so bunched up that they look like a wall of speckles. The door opens. The small iron box hangs agape. The inside of the box is awash with the flesh of the recently deceased. I stop breathing as my brain rejects my thoughts. So too do my lungs abandon their functions. An iron box, an elevator, tightly packed piles of red flesh. In the midst of it all are two dogs, ravenously gobbling up the meat. Everything I can see is stained red. Red viscous fluid begins to flow out of the elevator with a gurgling sound. Within that sea of blood, bodies, bones, brains, fingers, and organs. The two black dogs are the only living creatures. My mind refuses to accept this scene as reality. At the end of the hallway inside the elevator, the dogs are scavenging off people's bodies. Within the elevator is a vent leading to the main floor, leading to the floor below. Leaking through that vent are countless screams that I couldn't hear before. If I listen carefully, I can hear them. The scratching, scraping sounds of flesh being chewed on. The screams calling for help. The sounds of death and agony that barely resemble human language. My brain directly connected to my hearing can picture what's happening. Although I can't see it, images form within my head. Images of people being burnt alive. Images of people being eaten alive. There was a man who had noticed the unusual temperature. The moment he opened his door to flee, I was engulfed by the conflagration. Engulfed by the conflagration and died. There was a girl who had locked herself in her room, sat down in the bath and cried. The flames rising from the lobby blanketed the floor, and her body was turned to ash from the inside, like a steamed fish. There were adults that scrambled for the elevator as fast as they could, but the elevator was filled with dozens of former guests. These guests, no longer human, greedily set upon the adults that had just arrived. Half of the screams were out of fear of being eaten, and the other half in despair at being burned alive. No one was spared. Beneath my feet, inside this large box of a hotel, lies a hellscape so close to me that it makes my skin crawl. I feel nauseous. I can't let myself throw up. Because if I did that, I would also become one with the sea of red. I force my stalled breathing to resume. Gritting my teeth, I regain control of myself. The dogs in the elevator notice my presence. Having come back to my senses, I realize that the noise from downstairs has ceased. Oh, spooky doggo. In other words, that means that there's no one left alive anymore. The two black dogs break into a run. In this hunting ground, I'm their final prey. The dogs rush towards me. I can see countless lines on their bodies. But despite this, my paralyzed mind doesn't instruct me to fight or to run. The first of the two dogs leaps. Its speed is incomparable to that of a human. It took less than 2 seconds for it to run the length of a 20-meter hallway. Black dog opens its mouth. Its fangs, like rows of saw teeth, lunge for my throat. Swift, precise. At the same moment, my brain finally processes that it's coming for me. The dog's fangs sink into my throat with a wet squelch. I, Konoshiki, have died. What? No, I haven't. No. That's not right. There's no way I could be killed like this. No way I could die like this. I won't hesitate just because people are dead. A hot summer day. It was a long time ago. Or maybe it was 7 years ago. I'm certain that back then I witnessed a much more vividly gruesome scene than this. Stab. I plunge my knife into the forehead of the black dog that had snapped at the nape of my neck. The moment its fangs touched my skin, just before it bit into my carotid artery, my hand moved on its own. I'm amazed at myself. I run my blade through the forehead of the dog with no wasted motion, like a machine whose only function is to slash and kill. Because that was where the first dog's line was. Under normal circumstances, an animal won't stop moving the instant its brain is destroyed. Muscles that have already received signals from the brain will execute the last given command for as long as they are able. So even if I more or less tear its head apart, the dog's fangs will still bite my neck off. Yeah, well, under normal circumstances, that is. However, the dog is dead. The dying is to be stopped. At the moment it was about to kill me, it lost all validity. The first dog falls to the ground. In its place, the second dog leaps from my face. I thrust my knife into its open mouth. With a rending sound, the blade burrows itself into the dog's flesh. The dog's hide may be tough, but its insides are soft. Its bones and flesh are both literally rotten. However, this was a mistake. This thing's line isn't on its face, but on its chest. By stabbing it in the mouth, all I've managed to do is tear a hole in its flesh. The knife I plunged into the root of the dog's mouth reaches all the way back to the back of its head. Of course, the hand holding the knife is now also inside the dog's mouth. The dog is still alive. Uh-oh! It's still able to clamp down with its jaws. At this rate, the cartilage, the soft tissue that connects my hand, holding the knife in my arm, will be bitten in half. The pain finally brings me back to my senses. You've got to be kidding me. What the hell am I doing? Sticking a knife in a dog's mouth and letting it bite off my arm? I desperately try and pull my arm out. The pain of my arm being pulverized is so intense that I start seeing stars. The dog's fangs don't show any sign of letting go. No, not just that. Even though I've skewered this dog through its head, it's still brimming with energy. The dog shakes its body and forcefully positions itself on top of me. Oh my god! I collapse to the floor with a thud, but I still can't get my arm out. Even though I've run the dog through with my knife, it continues to clamp down with its jaws. My arm is being ripped off. I can't believe it. Dogs aren't supposed to be able to keep biting down when they're in a state like this. I feel something wet and slimy. Looking at the dog's mouth, I can see drops of blood spilling out. Is it coming from the hole I stabbed in the dog's head? Or is this blood coming from my arm that's getting bitten off? To be honest, my addled mind doesn't even care which it is. Even if I tried to get away, the dog has already latched onto my arm. There's no way I can escape. There was never a way for me to escape to begin with. I don't have a choice. I just want to survive. And if I want to survive, there's only one thing I have to do. Really. All I have to do is kill this thing. Okay, do it. So what should I do? One of my arms will be torn off in a matter of seconds. My knife is held by the same arm. I'm being pushed down. Even if I manage to pull my arm out, the black dog will bite at my neck at the very instant it gets free. In the midst of this hopeless situation, I let slip a laugh. I need hydrate. My throat feels so dry. Everything's going to be fine. I just have to step back, examine the situation, and think carefully about what to do next. That's the teaching that's gotten you this far, right? Look, there's even a whole bunch of lines right there on the back of the dog's head. See? It's always easy to work out what needs to be done to survive. So then, why am I hesitating? This is a violent animal, a beast that devours humans. But even so, right next to me, suffocatingly close, is another living being, its pulse racing. The pressures bearing down my arm grows even stronger. Stupid. I'm so stupid. I'm being so inconsistent that I should just let myself be killed. In this world, it's kill or be killed. So then why do humans hesitate like it's some sort of cruel act? A drop of red blood falls in my face. It slowly drips down my forehead and into my eyes. Dark vermilion seeps into the back of my eyeballs. A vermilion color that scorches my vision. A hot, thick, nostalgic liquid. I feel dizzy and lightheaded. Still, I can't kill something that's alive. How hypocritical. You've already killed a much greater animal than that lonely beast. Yeah, you're right. But that time was different. Tonoshiki wasn't in his right mind back when he killed Etiquette. When I took down the first black dog, it had nothing to do with my own will. This time, the decision is mine to make. Isn't that what Sensei said, Shiki? That this power belongs to you alone? That it's up to you how you use these eyes? That's why, as long as I am who I am, as long as I continue to be a decent human being, I should respect life and never treat it lightly. But that's also hypocrisy, because a long time ago, you already... A bad dream from my childhood. Come on, what are you waiting for? It was a hot summer day. If you hadn't killed him, he'd have killed you instead. In front of me was the figure of a boy covered in blood. You've already... a hot red blood on my hands. Killed someone once before, haven't you? Yeah! Nice. I stab it. Instead of pulling out my arm, I drive it even further into the black dog's head. A cry of pain echoes in my eardrums. The black dog's cry of agony is like the high-pitched scream of a woman. It can't howl properly because my arm is stuck in its mouth, but it's howling all the same. I bet it must hurt a lot, but I don't care. I use the arm caught in the dog's jaw to thrust the knife even deeper. The knife emerges from the back of the black dog's head. It splits its skull and easily slices through the skin. Sticky gobs of blood and brain tissue spray everywhere. Incidentally, the rest of my arm also passes completely through its head. But despite all that, the black dog is still alive. There's only one thing to do. I reach out my other arm, I rip the knife from my bloody fingers and grasp it firmly in my left hand. The dog's whole body trembles in supplication. It loosens its fangs, as if trying to apologize. Like I care. I simply dismantle the black dog along its line. Oh, savage. I look down at what used to be a living thing. I remove the dog's jaw from around my arm with ease. I look at my bloody arm. There are bite marks on my school uniform, but the marks gouged into my flesh are no more than a centimeter deep. The majority of the blood belongs to the black dog whose head I had pierced. The pain I felt when it bit me had been minor, but my fear had made it seem many times worse than it was. I lie down on the ground and look up at the ceiling. My head hurts. The world has started to fray at the edges, and I can see the lines of death poking through here and there. The warmth has completely faded from my limbs, but my mind is still feverishly turning over. Right next to me are the corpses of the 2 black dogs. One of my arms is smeared with blood, and the other is clutching a red knife. In addition, there are countless human corpses littering the lower floors. I can't help but laugh, because none of this is real. There's no way any of this could be real. Therefore, I must be normal. I'm completely, absolutely normal. The only crazy thing here is this dream I'm having. As soon as I wake up, it'll all be over. But how long have I been dreaming with my eyes wide open like this? Ding. A cheerful sound rings out, terribly out of place.
Beta.
Another elevator arrives right next to the one from earlier. My exhausted brain cannot process what this means. The door opens. Even though my brain isn't functioning properly, my body automatically stands up and shifts the knife back to my right hand, ready to face whatever gruesome scene is about to unfold. I don't like this at all. The second iron box swings open. Inside it is. There's nothing inside. This feels like a bit of an anticlimax. The danger is past. Everything may be over already, but at least now I know what happened on the lower floors. Since there is no longer any reason to be here, I turn to go back when... A comically absurd female voice rings out. Her voice, along with her footsteps, grow louder and louder. There's no doubt about it. A survivor is breathlessly running up the stairs next to the elevators. I can hear her cries of joy. The sound of her footsteps doesn't stop. The source of the voice tumbles onto the landing by the elevators. Noticing my presence in the hallway, the woman begins to run once again. No, you ain't. Her face, which had been tense with fear, now begins to radiate joy. A pallid hand appears and drags that hope back into the depths of hell. She continues to stare at me, begging for help. She doesn't mount any resistance at all. The woman is restrained with ease. The instant she's grabbed by his hand, she loses consciousness, as though suddenly waking from a dream. Stop. Stop right there. Let her go. It has nothing to do with us. She's just an innocent woman. Don't feed on her. At the very least.
Yame!
Oh. My plate doesn't make it in time. Even if it had, it wouldn't have made a difference. I stare at the woman's neck. It feels as though stars are streaking across my eyes. Unprecedented rage sharpens my vision. 2 bottomless eyes cloaked with bloody resentment. The woman's limbs twitch softly. All emotion and vitality drained from her face, stolen away by that man. I've never seen anything like this before. Yet despite only now seeing it for the first time, I don't need an explanation to know what's taking place. I can even hear the sound of him gulping it down. After a long period of feasting, the man casually discards her body. The woman falters like a withered tree. A ballerina dancing on the precipice above the abyss of death. On her wretched back, there are no screams. Only the sound of bloodshed echoes through the air. Her ruptured back, a shower of blood. The vampire lets out a sigh of relief as he bathes in it. The world changes drastically. The apparent temperature finally matches that of reality. A layer of flame envelops the corridor, like a river overtopping a dam. The heat scorches my skin. If I breathe now, my lungs will fry for sure. But something's off. They're burning. The flames are definitely flickering. And yet the building isn't being burnt. The only one affected by these flames is me, a living creature. I can feel a headache coming on. The man starts walking towards me. He is the source of this river of flames. The closer he gets, the hotter the atmosphere becomes. He's still 15 meters away. He's not even that close, but I'm already unable to breathe. In other words, any living thing would be annihilated if they had so much as approached this man. A slim figure advances towards me. His outfit is eccentric, elegant, traditional style clothing cloaked in a barbarian overcoat. He may resemble a human, but it's clear this man is anything but. Everything's out of sync. I'm about to go crazy. 13 meters. He strides towards me in complete silence. I ready my knife and glare at the man. No response. I wonder if he can even see me. 10 meters. I fix my eyes on him. Within the midst of the rolling flames, his lines of death come into view. The contents of my skull boil like a soup. What the hell is that? An intricate, swirling, dense torrent of death. It shines conspicuously at his core, like a jewel. My headache becomes too much to bear, and I tear my eyes away. That thing is bad news. I shouldn't stare at that point of the man's. I shouldn't stare at that point at the man's core. It's like how if you look directly at the sun, you'll burn your retinas. My brain will explode if I look at that thing without preparing myself first. 8 meters. The distance between us continues to shrink. The temperature is rising, but it's still not hot enough to burn my flesh. 6 meters. The man stops there. His gaze focuses on me. Having come this close, the man finally notices I'm here. Our eyes meet. I shouldn't be making eye contact with him. The woman in white's warning flashes across my mind. But I can't take my eyes off him. I cannot ignore the bottomless voids in front of me. His eyes are different. They must be fundamentally different to the mystic eyes that the woman in white was talking about. These eyes don't have the power to paralyze at all, because these are eyes of madness. The eyes of a madman. An ugly and ungainly being that's driven by nothing but his impulses, cast about on the waves of his own abnormality. A psychopath just like me. My instincts tell me that I'm in danger. Alarm bells ring inside my head, but my body still won't move. Not even a single fingertip responds. Danger signals ricochet around my skull. No matter what means or methods I use, I must get away from here immediately, or else my life will come to an end. But it's already too late. The sickly-eyed man, without even acknowledging my existence, burns me to death with his hand. I'm dead. After all, these flames are the real deal. The blue flames that drench the hallway are nothing more than an effect that manifests outside of reality. Even if I were swallowed by them, it wouldn't be enough to kill me outright. It must be some kind of phantom pain that only affects living beings. But this is different. These flames are real. Simply getting close to them would be enough to burn my skin. Anything living would be turned to ash from a single touch. The sharp claws of flame lash out at me. My body will be cut in two at the waist and burn up as the fire spreads from that cross-section. An outcome even more obvious than the fire itself. And yet, just before the flames connect, a thud reverberates down the hallway, and my body is yanked backwards. A sound of utter disbelief escapes my throat. My thoughts go blank. I understand what happened. Etiquette pulled me back, and as she did so, stepped in front of me to take the brunt of that hand. But her actions make no sense to me whatsoever. I'm the one who's supposed to be acting as a shield here. So why is she hurting herself in order to protect me? Etiquette's face twists in agony. The flaming hands reach out again and again. She doesn't need to pull me back this time. Etiquette swings her right hand just as she did in the alleyway and disperses the flames. But she doesn't manage to block everything. The flames aren't fully extinguished, and the dregs scorch her skin. You're telling me that even a person like Etiquette can get burned by a direct hit? Are these flames hot enough that they'd prove fatal to even her? The woman furthest away from death? It all happened in under 5 seconds. 10 shots were fired and 10 shots were intercepted. For whatever reason, the man solemnly lowers his arms. He stares at Etiquette in silence. She glares back at the man in pain. Her stomach dyed a deep red. The man is only paying attention to Etiquette. He's acting as though the knife-wielding guy behind her isn't even there. Steam pours from his mouth. After expelling a breath like exhaust from an engine, the man reaches under his coat with his left hand. I hear a faint metallic click. There's no mistaking it. That was the sound of a blade. There's a long object hidden under that coat. It must be the same thing he used to slash the woman in front of the elevator. The man begins to move. With the blade still hidden under his coat, he goes to take a step towards Etiquette.
無礼者、豚でなければ名を名乗れ。それとも貴様の親は最低限の言葉も教えぬ形なしだったのか。
The man's legs stop in their tracks. A flicker of ego stirs in his ghostly eyes. Etiquette's words were in a language I couldn't make heads or tails of, but the man lets out a guttural sound in response. His voice sounds pained, as if he had forgotten that he was a living creature until now.
礼儀は知っている。だが、貴様に語るほどの名はまだない。
礼儀はなっていないけど、恥だけは足りているようね。元の名前は失った。か。でも呼び名ぐらいはあるでしょ。継いだばかりのようだけど、仮にもその一角なんだから。
The atmosphere changes. The intensity of the blue flames burning in the hallway skyrockets. But Etiquette's words strike some nerve in the man.
ブローブ。
A troubled expression in his face. The flame-spreading vampire speaks.
ブローブ・アルハンゲリ。
And in doing so reveals his name.
知らない名前。私が記録していない以上、正当な後継者とも思えない。
そうではない。ご当主は俺が仕留めた。
なったばかりの祖ってこと。じゃあ次は私を殺して箔をつけたい？
名誉は己の胸にあるものだ。 俺は俺が欲しいものしか奪わない。
心構えは立派だけど、それなら私だけに絞りなさい。これはちょっとやりすぎよ。
いや、この都市は汚れている。焼き尽くさなければ俺の心情に戻る。
あっそう。つまり蛮族同然の三流使徒だったわけ。
粗野であることは自覚している。神祖の姫、その心臓を俺によこせ。
This is bad. The space around the vampire that calls himself Vtuber warps. The river of flame that pours out from around him grows even larger. Etiquette's body acts as a breakwater, preventing me from being swallowed by the raging torrent.
動かないでシキ。この炎があいつの武器。消し炭になりたくなかったら私の後ろから離れないで。
As much as I appreciate her advice, I can't help but feel a sense of unease that can't be put into words. That's his weapon? Really? Because if he's created an environment as superheated as this one, it's almost as if his true form is actually... No. Now is not the time to think. I focus my attention and grasp the knife. Here it comes. The hallway has already become a cave of fire. Just as Vtuber is about to unleash the blade from under his coat. This happens. The man turns his back on us all of a sudden. He walks over to the elevator as if nothing had happened, boards one with the same air of composure, and leaves the floor. I don't understand what's going on at all anymore. Not the two dogs that attacked me, not the flames that covered the corridor, and not the nightmarish reality that descended on this hotel. Etiquette collapses against me with a thud. That's a nasty wound. The bleeding from her stomach has stopped, but her face is contorted in pain. It happened just a few seconds ago. She got that wound protecting me from that man.
そうだよ。お前、なんで？
ちょっと甘く見てた。あれくらいならシキを助けて、私も軽くかわせると思ったんだけど。さすがだね、シキ。シキにやられた傷、そんなに甘くなかったみたい。
With her face still contorted in pain, Etiquette cracks a smile at her own joke. I can't look at her. She got that wound protecting me. On top of that, she wouldn't even have been in harm's way if it weren't for me in the first place. I don't know how I'm supposed to respond when she looks at me with that idiotic smile on her face. Etiquette leans her body against mine and gently closes her eyes.
ちょっと待て！何目を閉じてるんだ、バカ！しっかりしろ！お前は夜なら死なない吸血鬼なんだろ！
うん。でも、私、なんだか限界みたい。悪いんだけど、部屋まで連れ帰っておいて。
Etiquette collapses on me. I feel the weight of her body as I catch her in my arms.
ちょっと待ってくれ！そんな…
If you die me right now, I really won't know how to respond.
ダメだ！起きろ、アルクエド！
I call out to her as she lies there with her eyes softly shut. And then... her somnolent breathing sounds so happy it makes me feel like an idiot for yelling a second ago. All my worries melt away. It seems that Etiquette is just asleep.
部屋まで連れてけって、また勝手なこと言いやがって。
But given the circumstances, I'll let it slide. And besides, it's not a good idea to stick around this hotel any longer. The place is an absolute bloodbath. Even if nobody outside could see all that bizarre events that transpired here, sooner or later someone's going to notice. My headache won't let up. My body is also at its limit. I put on my glasses so that I can at least rid myself of my headache.
アルクエイドの部屋って。あそこか。
I've only been there once, but I definitely remember it. There's no point in staying here. I retrieve my luggage from the royal suite, and with Etiquette in my arms, shamefully leave the now vacant hotel. The sky outside is bright.
そうか。そういうことか。
The reason why the man left was so simple. The sun had already fully risen over the city. Without me even noticing, night had given way to day. First things first, I should let Etiquette get some rest. I decide not to catch a cab. A suspicious pair like us are bound to be remembered. Trying to put as much distance as possible between us and the hotel, I board a bus headed for Soya Station. Fortunately, it's early in the morning, so we don't attract any attention. The emergency exit at the back of the building is still the same as it was the day before yesterday. Residents and managers must not have noticed that the lock had been cut. 6:30 a.m. Once again, I creep into the room of the self-proclaimed vampire woman. I have a feeling that this long day has come to an end at last. Man, if we've had a long day for. Day 5. Infernal River of Blood 2. Etiquette's room isn't exactly what I'd have expected of a vampire. Last time I was here, I wasn't really paying any attention to the room itself. Now that I am, though, I see that it's pretty mundane. There are no bottles filled with human blood, nor can I spot any bizarre sculptures or anything like that. It seems very old-fashioned. I lay Etiquette down on the bed as I grumble. Although her body's light, carrying her all the way wasn't easy. I sit on the floor and take a deep breath. It's almost 7 o'clock in the morning.
そっか。カーテン閉めてやらないと。
I whip my sluggish body back into shape and go close the curtains. I've done everything I can. Now I should finally be able to relax. But on my way to go sit down, my knees give out and I fall onto the floor with a thud.
情けない。女の子一人運んだだけで。
I mean, you didn't get any rest at all, Shiki. Ever since the accident, I've had a hard time recovering from injuries. Which isn't to say that I don't get enough exercise. The Adimas had a dojo, so back when I lived with them, I'd exercise all the time. After all, for someone with a weak body, even a common cold can become a matter of life and death. I'm proud to say that my fundamental physical strength is on par with the average person. However, there's no way for me to improve my endurance. I'm like a track and field athlete who can do short sprints, but not a marathon. I'm way too tired to pick myself back up from the floor. Not only did I stay up all night talking with Etiquette, but I haven't had a decent meal in over a day. It's crazy that I've lasted this long.
アルクエイド、傷大丈夫かな。
I still glance at the woman lying on the bed. It seems like her abdomen has already stopped bleeding. And besides, she can come right back to life even after being torn limb from limb. I'm probably worrying over nothing. This fever is making me lightheaded. I'm so exhausted I can barely breathe. And yet, here I am worrying over her condition. I guess I must have come down with something pretty serious.
この衝突事故はオートバイのブレーキペダルが何らかの異常をきたしており、ブレーキの効かない状態で急な坂道を降りたことが原因とみられています。負傷者は2名、幸い死者はおりませんでした。
寝ちゃったのか?
I guess I must have passed out on the floor. Looks like someone's opened the curtains and there's now a blanket draped over me. It's just past noon. There's no sign of Etiquette on the bed. The TV has been left broadcasting a steady stream of dull news.
あいつ、どこに?
I sit up and look around the room. It sounds like there's someone in the neighboring room. I think it's the kitchen.
あんな体のくせに何動き回ってるんだ?
I pull off the sheet and stand up. I need to go to the kitchen immediately and check on her wounds.
次のニュースです。本日未明、倉見橋ドームホテルで火災が発生しました。内部からの火災警報はなく、午前6時、業務に戻ったスタッフがホテル内の異常を発見し、警察に通報。現在、消防署と連携を取りながら、ホテル内の消火作業を続けている模様です。
I stop dead in my tracks. I'm completely unable to tear my eyes away from the news program.
ホテルに宿泊していた200名の安否は未だ確認されておりません。現在、消火作業は急ピッチで進められていますが、未だホテル内から要救助者は1名も発見されず。
Haven't the flames been put out? I thought all the flames stopped when Vrov left. Okay, I guess. The newscaster rattles off the news dispassionately. The screen changes, showing the exterior of the hotel where we just were, along with a list of the names of 200 missing guests. Neither mine nor Etiquette's name is on the list. In addition, according to the police report... Oh wait, that's the dude. With a click, I turn off the TV. The safety of the guests is yet to be confirmed. Not a single victim has been discovered. How can they see that when they knew full well what happened? Everyone staying at that hotel was engulfed by those unfathomable flames and burned away without a trace. I hold back my nausea. I can't think back on that tragedy or I'll end up vomiting. Wallowing in self-pity in this situation would make me worse than a pig. As the only one who escaped that hotel with his life intact, I cannot allow... My dog is licking me. I cannot allow myself to feel anything but hatred. 200 people. 200 human beings were slaughtered arbitrarily, and their bodies desecrated. That vampire's face looms over my thoughts. I don't know what kind of person he is, but I do know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that he is the cause of all of this. Yeah. The only thing I know for certain is that he's someone who needs to die. I wonder if my heart is still numb. I still feel the fear I felt back then. My rage continues to swirl intensely, and yet my thoughts are turning cold. Seems like my heart and mind have become separate. Just thinking about that cloaked man makes me want to scream, yet the sharp sensation in my fingertips continues to grow. I don't need such useless feelings. I don't need more reasons to be angry either. There is simply only one thing I must do, and that is to simply cut those.
気がついたの、シキ。
Oh, hello. Etiquette pokes her head out the kitchen.
怖い顔しちゃって何かあった？
Etiquette casually calls out to me like with a light-hearted tone.
いや、別に。おはよう。
おはよう。朝の挨拶をするなんて珍しい経験ね。
Her unexpected smile takes my breath away. The chilling thoughts I had a moment ago disappear with it. Wait, what am I doing spacing out? Isn't the whole reason I got up because she wasn't in bed?
アルクエイド、傷はいいのか？
Yeah, how are your wounds?
傷？ええ、とりあえず問題ないわ。
Etiquette stands there looking perfectly relaxed. I guess she's totally back to normal. Hell, she might even be healthier than I am.
そうか。それならよかった。
I'm glad that at least the people close to me are safe. Wait, what am I thinking? Etiquette isn't human. I must still be half asleep if I forgot something as simple as that. Or something as important as that.
でもまあ、いいことには変わりはないよな。お前の傷、大したことじゃなかったんだから。
へえ、どうしたのよ、シキ。ちょっと前までは私のこと化け物呼ばわりしてたくせに。
あのな、ちょっと前までじゃなくて、今でもそう思ってる。
助けたって私がシキを
Etiquette's eyes open wide in surprise. By the looks of it, it seems like she doesn't consider it praiseworthy.
そうだよ。お前は俺を助けてくれたんだよ。だから、今更だけど、かばってくれてありがとう。
ありがとうって。別にいいよ、そんなこと考えなくて。シキがブローブと出会った原因は私にあるんだし、シキに感謝される資格はないもの。
助けられたのも事実だろ。アルクエイドは俺をかばってくれた。その点だけは本当に感謝してる。
確かに事実だけ見ればそうだけど、やっぱりそれは違うよ、シキ。見張り役を引き受けなければあなたはあんな目には合わなかった。シキの生活に毒を混ぜたのは私よ。あなたは私を憎みこそすれ、感謝するのは間違ってるんじゃない？
She really gets hung up on the weirdest things. I mean, it's not like gratitude is something you can explain with faces and logic. It's all to do with your emotions.
間違ってないよ。自分の行動は自分で責任を持つしかない。周りがどうあれ、自分が望んでやったことは自分の手で決着をつけなさいって。
That's why I don't feel any resentment or malice towards Etiquette for making me stand guard for her. At worst, I might grumble about the mess I've gotten myself into, but that's about it.
そっか。言われてみれば盾が必要になったのはシキが私を殺したからだものね。ならあなたを巻き込んだことについて私が謝る必要はないってこと？
ああ、そういうこと。自業自得なんだよ、今の。
自業自得か。うん、シキってば初めから運が悪かったのね。人を殺すにしたって私以外の子にしておけばこんなことにはならなかっただろうし。
あのな。
To begin with, the assumption that I would kill someone other than her is absurd. Etiquette's the only one who's ever made me feel that way. Made me feel the need to follow someone around only to end up killing them. Honestly, I don't think anyone other than her could make me.
あ、
何？忘れ物でも思い出したの？
いや、忘れ物というか、なんていうか。考えてみれば、 どうして俺はお前を殺そうなんて思ったんだろう。
Etiquette looks at me, furrowing her brow. She has every right to react like that. After all, I, the perpetrator, just said I don't know why I killed her.
理由なんてないんじゃない？だってシキは根っからの殺人鬼なんだから。
は？
Hold on. What did you just say to me?
私を襲った時なんてすごく手慣れていたものね。チャイムを押して扉が開いた瞬間に手を差し込んできて、有無を言わさず中に押し入る。こっちが驚いている間に狙撃で生命活動を停止させて、あとはザックザクに切り裂いてバラバラにする。あの不意打ちは完璧だった。どのくらい完璧だったかっていうと、あの時の式をそのままキャンバスに閉じ込めれば、それ以上はないほどの絵になるぐらい完璧だった。私がまだ正常なままだったら、お城に持ち帰って飾ってあげたいぐらい。
With a rather captivated voice, she utters something bizarre. But no, that's...
けど、今回は殺した相手が悪かったわね。シキが今まで何人殺してきたかは知らないけど、獲物に私を選んだ時点で年貢の納め時だったんじゃない？そうって何よ。さっきから怖い顔して。言いたいことがあるならはっきり言えばいいのに。私とあなたの間で今さら我慢することなんてないでしょ？
She's right. After I nod, I gently beckon her over.
何？内緒話？
Etiquette comes over to me, brimming with excitement and anticipation. I bring my mouth close to her ear so that I can clearly get my point across.
あのな、アルクエイド。
何？
Here I go.
そんなわけないだろ、このバカ女
You airhead... My all-out scream echoes around the room. Oh, as an echo? I thought it was passing out. I mercilessly assault Etiquette's eardrums with as much volume as I can muster. Etiquette covers her ears exaggeratedly.
もう、あったまきた。突然何するのよ、シキ。
怒りたいのはこっちの方だ。なんか微妙にめちゃくちゃな注文してきやがるかと思えば、お前、そういうことだったのか。
え？そういうことって何？
俺をイカれた殺人鬼だと思い込んで、化け物相手に盾になれとか見張りをやれとか、無茶な注文をしてきたことだよ。ああ、もう、とんでもない勘違いをしやがって。いいか、この際言っておくけど、俺は殺人鬼でも殺人狂でもない。人を殺すなんて、お前が初めてだったんだから。
Etiquette's mouth hangs wide open. It seems I've made her realize that what she's put me... It seems I've made her realize what she's put me through up to this point.
嘘。あんなに手慣れてて、あれが初めてだったっていうの？シキ。
そうだよ。こんなおかしな目を持ってるけど、俺だってそれなりにできるだけ真面目に生きてきたんだ。この線を使って人を殺したいなんて思ったことは一度もない。
ふん。それじゃあどうして見ず知らずの私を殺したりしたのよ。
だからそれが。
Just as I'm about to say that I don't know, I realize just how despicable I am.
あの時、俺はお前と街ですれ違った途端、吐きそうなぐらい気になって。
All I could think of was that white figure. All I could think of was that white figure. Without stopping my lust-sullied self, a vulgar smile plastered on my lips.
俺はそのまま気がついたら君をこの手で。
In this very room, for no reason, with no purpose, I trampled all over her beautiful figure.
そうか。
Strength drains from my body. Losing my ability to stand, I fall to my knees. Yeah, I see now. I had no right to be mad at Etiquette. Even though she survived, even though she isn't human, the reality of the situation remains. I killed her with my very own hands.
何よ、またいきなり黙っちゃって。そうかって、何がそうなの、シキ。
だから、ごめんって言わなくちゃいけない。
Caught up in this incredibly abnormal situation, I forgot something very important. I was so scared that I turned away from the very first thing I should have done.
ごめん。ごめんな、アルクエイド。俺は君をここで殺した。俺は何よりそのことを。
It's no wonder that Etiquette thought I was a murderer. Even after killing her, I didn't show any remorse or responsibility for my actions. I even acted like I was the victim. Not only that, but I still don't even understand the impulse I had at the time.
殺したのは事実なんだ。だから、俺は罰を受けないといけない。こんな人殺し、みんなの社会に混ぜるわけにはいかないだろう。
I believe I'm only saying this now. Such a coward. Someone who kills for no reason should have never had a place in society to begin with.
そう。シキは本当に自分でも理由がわからないのね。
I nod while hanging my head in shame.
つまり、楽しいとも感じなかったってことでしょ？うん。確かに殺人鬼の中には息をするみたいに人を殺すやつもいるけど、シキは普段はまともっぽいよね。
そうだな。一応そのつもりだけど。
いえ、まっとうすぎるぐらいまともよ、あなたは。それで、殺したくなったのは私だけなの？
ああ。アルクエド以外にはそんな気持ちにはならなかった。
なんだ、なら問題ないじゃない。ほら、顔を上げてシキ。あなたは殺人鬼なんかじゃないよ。
I raise my head as if I'd been granted forgiveness. In front of me, I see the confident smile of someone who looked past the act of me killing her. A smile that believed in me more than I believed in myself.
それに何の罰も受けなくていいと思う。たまたまシキが殺したいって思った相手が私で、厄介なことにシキにはこれ以上ない殺人技巧が備わっていた。けど都合のいいことに私が吸血鬼だったんだから、誰も死んでないでしょ。だからシキがそんなに悩む必要はないよ。人間たちの社会の道徳も気にしなくていいと思う。人間にあなたは弾劾できない。だって今のところ世界でシキを責めていいのは被害者である私と当事者であるシキ本人だけなんだから。
それはそうだけど、お前を殺したっていう事実だけは。
Yeah. Even if these abnormal circumstances led to me going unpunished, my sin shall still remain for all eternity.
それは当然よ。私だってまだ根に持ってるんだから、そう簡単に忘れられちゃ困るわ。だけどね、シキ。ちゃんとあなた本人がそう思えてずっと後悔していくんなら問題はないんじゃない？
That's such sophistry. That's just... What is sophistry? I don't know. That's just sophistry.
シキ、人間の中にはね、 どんなに世の中を恨んでいても悪魔に魂を売れない人がいるわ。例えば吸血鬼相手にごめんなさいなんて言える正直者とかね。だから大丈夫。誰が何て言ったってシキ本人がそうじゃないって言い切ったってシキはまだそっち側の世界にいられるよ。
I'm speechless. The nerve of this woman. How could she say such a thing to her killer with a smile on her face?
ほら、そんなことより私たちにはもっと厄介な問題があるでしょ。シキの目も覚めたんだし、今後のことを話し合いたいんだけど。
It happened so suddenly. Without any warning, Etiquette collapses to the floor with the smile still on her face.
アルクエド!
I rush over to her fallen body.
参ったな。やっぱりまだ無理みたい。
Etiquette takes a pained breath as sweat forms on her forehead. For a moment, I thought I saw a faint red color seeping through her shirt.
お前、この傷。
The one she got protecting me at the hotel.
ブローブに裂かれたところね。シキにやられたせいで治りが遅くなってるだけよ。とりあえず傷口だけは塞いでおいたんだけど、あんまり効果はなかったみたい。
Etiquette's tone is cheerful. One second. However, I finally came to realize that there's a faint hint of pain in her expression.
塞いでおいたって何で？
それ。
Etiquette points to an object lying on the wooden floor. A brown object. At first glance, it looks a bit like a bomb kuchen, but on closer inspection, it's a roll of 100 yen duct tape. Bruh.
もう休みにしろ！ガムテープで傷口を縛るやつがどこにいるってんだ！
もう、あんまり人のことバカバカ連呼しないでよ。なんだか本当にそうなのかなって考えちゃうじゃない。
うるさい！いいから傷口を見せろ！
I reach for her white clothes. However, Etiquette tumbles over onto the bed with a soft thud.
ふざけるな。傷口が開いたらどうするつもりだ？
いいよ、こんなの放っておいたって。シキこそバカな真似はやめてよね。女の子の服を剥ごうなんて人よりたちが悪いわよ。
あのな、俺はお前を人間として見てないんだから、男も女もないだろ。ほら、いいからおとなしくしてろ。俺をかばった傷で死なれたら一生負い目ができちまう。
Etiquette, what are you doing? My dog is. What are you doing? He's tickling me. Etiquette glares at me in dissatisfaction, and just as I think she's about to roll back over to me. Oh, my phone died. For tracking. Put that on charge. Give me a sec. There we go. Okay, let that charge then. She stands up reluctantly, stubbornly refusing to talk. It seems she's a bit sulky, but I guess I'm allowed to examine her wounds now.
よし。どんな手当てをしたのか、ちょっと見せてみろ。
Whoa! Etiquette rolls up her clothes and exposes her abdomen.
But
I desperately hold back the urge to yell at her. She didn't just seal her wounds. There's so much duct tape here that she sealed off her whole damn abdomen. I put her clothes back on and pick her up.
何するのよ、シキ！
ベッドに寝かすんだよ。病院に連れて行きたいのは山々だけど、そういうわけにはいかないだろう。
And so I place her down on the bed as gently as I can.
いいか、俺が戻ってくるまで絶対に動き回るなよ。さっきみたいに歩き回ったら、お前のことなんて忘れてさっさと逃げるからな。
I look around the room. As I thought, there's no first aid kit or anything that I could use to treat her wound. She is someone that can just come back to life after all. This may well be the first time that this kind of thing has ever happened to her. The cash I have on me comes to a grand total of 2,000 yen.
いや、見栄を張ってる場合じゃない。アルクエド、お前金持ちだって言ったよな。
うん。お金には不自由してないけど、それが何よ。
現金でもカードでもとにかく貸してくれ。手当に必要なものを買い込んでくれ。お前に効果があるかどうかはわからないけど、最低限の手当ぐらいしよ
う。いいけど、無駄かもしれないよ。
We'll see.
無駄でもやるんだ。そのまま放っておけるもんか。
わかった。私も体の作りそのものはシキたちと同じなんだし、それなりに意味はあるかもしれないし。
Etiquette presents me with a handful of 10,000 yen bills. Not that it really matters, but did she just pull the stack of cash out of thin air?
お前は黙って横になってろ。あ、でも眠っちゃダメだからな。横になってもちゃんと起きてるんだぞ。
シキ、すごく無茶な注文してるよ。
無茶だけどやれ。眠ると体の機能は低下する。免疫力とか抵抗力な。なんで傷が塞がっていないまま寝るとますます悪化するんだそうだ。睡眠で回復するのは頭の疲れだけで、傷や病気は治してくれないだろう。
へえ、それってその通りよ。
Etiquette smiles happily. As always, I have no idea what goes on inside her head.
あのさ、なんで笑うんだよ、そこで。
だって、シキが頼りになるんだもん。
Oh, I'm gonna go crazy. I hold myself back from replying and focus on what I need to do next. First things first, I need to get out of here, ditch my bloodstained jacket, and go shopping. However, as I'm about to leave, I notice something in the kitchen.
飯だ。
On the table sits something that would be more accurately described as food than a meal. Actually, it's less like food and more like ingredients upon further consideration. Even that might be a generous description. So this is why Etiquette was in the kitchen earlier. Etiquette said that she doesn't eat ordinary meals. It goes without saying who this was prepared for.
もう、なんなんだ、あいつ。
I'm getting irritated. So irritated that I waste no time dashing out to buy something I can use to give her first aid. That being said, it's not like I've ever dealt with a situation like this before. The only first aid measures that come to mind are gauze for covering her wound, antiseptic, bandages, and painkillers. That and nutrition. I better pick up something for her to eat. Fortunately, I have a ton of money. I'm no expert, but whatever I can come up with still has to be better than nothing. You never know what might be of help to her. With that in mind, I buy everything that I can think of. Ignoring her laid-back voice, I applies the gauze and as delicately as I can. The wound on her abdomen isn't that large. I mean, a 4-centimeter deep horizontal gash would absolutely have been fatal for a human, but according to Etiquette...
こんなの全然大したことないからね。
So, there you have it. Anyway, it seems like her internal organs will heal on their own soon, so it's so outlandish that I'm not even going to bother questioning it. The bleeding stopped, and all that's left is to close the wound. But from this point on, I doubt things are going to play out as they would with a human. It might be counterproductive for a wound this large, but I put some antiseptic on it to prevent bacterial infection. I'd expected her to thrash around from the stinging pain of the antiseptic, but she didn't so much as twitch.
今何かしたの?
Instead, she makes an impressively thick-skinned remark. I guess she's just tough.
よし。
I put some gauze on her wound and carefully wrap a bandage around it.
ちょっとやめてって仕切ってはうますぎ
Etiquette lets out a cheerful laugh, seemingly amused by something. Even though she didn't react at all when I applied the antiseptic, it seems like the bandage is tickling her. I ignore her and fasten the bandage on with a pin. They say wounds stop bleeding when you apply pressure, so I give the bandage a final tug to pull it tight.
もう今のは減点だよ式
With this, I've done everything that I can do for the time being. Incidentally, I've closed the curtains again out of concern for Etiquette.
さて、格好だけはつけてみたけど、どうかな。動けるか、アルクエド。
ええ、動く分には問題なさそう。中身はまだぐちゃぐちゃのままだから満足には動けないでしょうけど。
そうか。ま、それはそっちの方で何とかしてくれ。俺は切るのが専門で、直すのは管轄外だ。
I move away from Etiquette and sit down, leaning against the wall.
お疲れさん、もう寝ていいぞ。眠って力が戻ればすぐに治るんだろ。見張っててやるから、おとなしく寝ていてくれ。
寝ても傷は回復しないわ。式も言ったでしょ、睡眠で回復できるのは疲れだけだって。私の場合ね、力は純粋な時間経過で回復するものなの。夜になればとりあえず普通に動けるぐらいには回復するわ。
Regardless of what she says, seeing her in pain isn't good for my mental health.
いいから眠ってくれ。今のお前、話しているだけで辛そうじゃないか。
そうだけど、せっかく式が起きてるんだもの。眠るのがもったいなくて。
Etiquette perches herself on the bed. She's in full-on chatter mode.
ったく。
Guess I've got no choice. I've got some questions I need to ask her as well, so I'll keep chatting with her for a bit longer.
アルクエド、昨日のホテルのことを聞いていいか。
そうね、やっぱりそういう会話になるわよね。
昨日のあいつ、ブローブとか言っていたけど、あいつは一体何なんだ。吸血鬼なのはわかる。仰々しい服とかお前よりよっぽどらしかったからな。
What on earth were those blue flames that swept through the corridor? They don't fit my image of a vampire at all.
私よりらしいって何をらしいって。でも確かに式の言う通りか。あいつ体も崩れていないし原理も小規模だったし、人間が思い描くオーソドックスな吸血鬼なんでしょう。あの炎の川を覗けばね。
それだ。やっぱりお前から見てもあの日は異常なのか。あいつ
As soon as I say that, Etiquette lets out an exaggerated sigh.
そりゃあね、誰かさんに殺されてしまった私はあんな二流の人と戦いをするレベルまで落ちてるわよ。今の私とブローブのスケールを比べるならあっちの方がやや上ってところ。
そうか。普段のアルクエイドならなんとか倒せる相手なんだ。
なんとかって普段なら戦いになんてならない。もう誰のおかげでこんな屈辱に耐えていると思ってるの？あんな祖になりたての見習い、本当なら睨むだけでぺしゃんこにできるんだからね。
Oops, I made her upset. Still, I'm not interested in these what-if scenarios right now. The real question I'm driving at is whether Etiquette can defeat that vampire in her current state.
できないわ。今はブローブの方が上だもの。単純な性能で下回っているんだから、無策で戦えば殺されるわ。
ずいぶんきっぱりと言うんだな。さっきはあんなに怒ったくせに。
ただの事実よ。分かりきった話なんだから予断も希望も挟まないわ。
Her frankness is a little intimidating. When it comes to fighting, Etiquette is a very tough and thorough thought process. Seeing her cool-headed nature at close range, it once again strikes me, perhaps a little late, that she really is a vampire.
まあ四季の言いたいこともわかるけどね。あの炎は確かに厄介だし、ブローブ本体の力も上司にふさわしいものだし、私に少しでもあいつの知識があれば多少の戦力差は覆せるんだろうけど。
アルクエイドはあいつを知らないのか？
Even though you came all the way here to kill this suzerain?
私、吸血鬼に知り合いはいないわ。知り合ったということは次の瞬間に殺しているということだもの。今回みたいに顔を合わせたのに別れたなんていうのは特例よ。
でもあいつの方はお前を知ってるようだったけど。
初対面よ。私は吸血鬼たちに知れ渡っているからあっちが勝手に知っていただけ。他の吸血鬼たちも同様、でも名前や素性だけは知っている。歴史を重ね得意な能力を保有する個体ほど名前が知れ渡るのは当然でしょ。ブローブはその逆、まだ名もつけられていない新参者なんでしょうね。多分祖になって200年ぐらいかな。
またその単語か。祖ってのは何なんだ？
まあ吸血鬼たちの王様みたいなものかな。四季には関係のない話よ。
関係あるだろ。要は城主ってやつのことか。あのゾンビたちを操ってる親玉というか。
城主と祖は必ずしも同じじゃないわ。強力な人ほど城主になりやすいだけで、城主はいわば地方領主みたいなものなの。祖はその上、領主たちを輩出するさらに上の吸血鬼。人たちの世界は27の勢力に分けられているの。27の国があると思えばいいわ。その国を滑る、あるいは国そのものとされるのが祖と呼ばれる古い吸血鬼、使徒の頂点に立つ者たちよ。
27 countries and their kings. I see. If vampires exist, it's only natural that they'd have their own countries and their own power struggles. Wait.
待てよ。それとんでもない相手ってことじゃないか。
まあそうね。ブローブはまだ未熟者だけど、それでもあなたたち人間から見れば災害と変わらない。昨日のホテルもそうよ。あいつは1階から最上階までやってきただけだった。人間なんて殺す気はなかったし、心底どうでもいい存在だった。でもそれだけで人間は死ぬ。あの炎はあいつがいるだけで発生する呪いのようなものだから。
What the hell? Killing humans just by existing. He doesn't care one way or another about humans. Then that massacre at the hotel.
俺たちがホテルに逃げたから起きたことなのか。
ええ、私がいたからブローブはやってきた。
Etiquette confirms it. It may have been Vrov who killed those people, but we were the ones who caused that disaster. It would be easy to say it's all your fault and blame everything on Etiquette. It would be the right thing to do as a human being, after all. Oh, a human being. After all, she doesn't give a damn about human life. In that regard, she's a monster just like Vrov. But who's responsible for her fleeing to that hotel in the first place? It's all your fault. Yeah, that's exactly right. The disaster that befell the guests at the hotel. The suffering that Etiquette had to endure. All of the blame lies with me. The one who killed her.
シキ、同じ間違いは繰り返さないで。弱い生き物から消えていくのは当然のことでしょう。彼らが死んだのはいつの間にか自分の身を守れないように進化した人間という種全体の責任よ。人が人を殺したというのなら確かに人間社会での罪になる。けれどこれは 人間と人間外のものに起きた自然淘汰の一環よ。
傲慢って、俺が？
ええ。あなたが人間の代表ならそれでもいいけどね。いい？例えば山の話。そこには肉食獣たちのコミュニティがあった。彼らの食事には人間も含まれていた。そしてある日、その事実を全く知らない人間たちがやってきて、彼らを残らず、この場合、どちらに罪があるというの？人間から身を守れなかった彼ら？それとも、彼らを皆殺しにした人間？
それは。
My thoughts of self-loathing. Oh. My thoughts of self-loathing come to a halt. Etiquette made that analogy not out of concern for me, but rather as an expression of disdain. The place of sin, with the weight of a life. She's denouncing the hypocrisy of people like me who cannot help but reflect on these things. That's what she was trying to say. Neither man nor beast bear a sin in the natural world. The only absolute evil is a species that cannot preserve its own life.
でも、ここは。
This is a society of humans. A city of humans. This isn't a matter of humans being too weak or vampires being too strong. Humans form cities because it's too difficult for them to survive on their own. They're a defense mechanism to protect the individual through the power of the collective. And I think that at the end of the day, I still have to answer for causing a vampire to show up in a place like that.
そう。私も間違ってたみたい。あなたは確かに殺人鬼にはなれない人ね。
なんだよ、その言い方。俺が甘いっていうのか。
それ以前の問題。だからここではっきりさせましょう。シキ、あなたはこれからどうするの？吸血鬼と戦う？それとも逃げる？好きな方を選んで。私はもう強制はしない。見張り役の約束は昨日一日で完了よ。
What am I gonna do? That's obvious.
でも覚悟をして。吸血鬼と戦うということは人間の枠から外れるということ。あなたたちがどれだけ犠牲になってもそれを自分とは関係のないことだと思えなければあなたは必ず破綻する。それが間違っていると思うのなら昨日までのあなたに戻りなさい。
Etiquette's eyes bore into me. I already know that. If I want to return to a normal life as a human being, I should just run away. I'm fine with that. It's the best choice I can make. But what about Etiquette? No, this isn't about Etiquette. This is about me. If I stay here, if I become involved with her, I'm bound to run into him. The guy's crazy. The fact that he's a vampire, or that he can summon those flames, is nothing when compared to those otherworldly eyes of his. His emotions are dead. Everything about him is cold. I mean, doesn't even care about the lives of other vampires, let alone humans. There's no way that I can face him again. As someone who was nearly killed by him once before, I'm all too aware of this fact. I'll refuse. I have to refuse. I can't think of any way I could possibly handle an opponent like him.
アルクエイド。俺は。
But is this really the right decision? Am I really going to abandon her? It's my fault. I am the reason that she can't even move around properly. Can I really just turn my back on her?
俺は。
Am I going to run away? Am I really going to run away from that ruthless monster after he mercilessly reduced all these people to ashes like they were nothing? Am I really going to turn a blind eye, save my own skin, and live on without a shred of conscience? These lines of death are something only I can see. I was told by someone I hold dear that I was endowed with those eyes for times of great necessity. If that's true, then the answer is obvious. I can't shake off my doubts and fears. I don't know to what extent I'll even be able to help. But still, Even a person like me can say that I don't want to do.
四季？
アルクエイド、お前の話は俺には分からない。どんなに相手が違う生き物だとしても、どんなに俺が無力だとしても、責任は同じなんだ。俺はやっぱり多くの人を見殺しにしたし、多くの人を見殺しにするのは嫌なんだ。だから今さら自分だけ逃げるなんてできない。
I look up the ceiling and take a deep breath. My resolve strengthens as a result.
吸血鬼を倒す。それがあのホテルにいて自分だけ生き残った俺が取るべき責任なんだと思う。
Though I'm replying to her, it's as if I'm trying to convince myself of what I said. Etiquette lets out a single, heavy sigh, seemingly in self-reproach.
"そっか。じゃあ私は何も言わない。四季が一緒に戦ってくれるのは助かるしね。あなたならブローブなんて問題なく一撃で殺せるんだから。
いや、それは無理だろ。あいつの周り熱くて近づけないんだから。それ以前にどうやってあいつを見つけるんだ？
見つけるって、四季ってほんと極端なのね。逃げないって決めたら今度はこっちから攻めに行こうだなんて。
なんとなくそう思っただけだ。極端の化身みたいなお前に言われたくない。
私は効率重視なだけよ。まあいいわ。言っておくけど、ここからは持久戦だから。一番確実な戦法は、私の体力が戻りきるまで逃げること。あと3日もすれば、私の規模は3割ぐらいまで回復する。それだけの出力があれば、私一人でもブローブを倒しきれる。
3日？いや、でも。
ええ。その3日間、ブローブは野放しよ。あいつは地下に潜って人間から血液を補充する。それだけじゃない。あの様子からすると、夜の街を徘徊するかもしれない。あいつ、正気が欠けていたし、姿を隠さないと教会に狙われる、なんてセオリー、頭にないのかもね。
それはダメだ。あいつはいるだけで炎をまき散らす怪物なんだぞ。一日だって放っておけるか。
なら昼間のうちにブローブを見つけて殺すしかない。でもそれには反対よ。大まかな場所は目星がつくけど、睡眠中の人ほど用心深いものはないわ。今の私たちじゃ返り討ちになる可能性の方が高いもの。
そんな、奴の居場所に目星がついてるのにむざむざ見逃すっていうのか。
ええ、言ったでしょ。人間が何人ブローブの餌食になろうと私には関係のない話だって。
I'm speechless. I get where she's coming from. We want to play it safe, or rather, if we want to be completely certain of our victory, the best choice would be to wait for Etiquette to regain her strength. But it's a trade-off. The more time that we waste here, the more the victims will continue to pile up. I should... Oh, you know what? Wrap it up there. We'll wrap it up here! So yeah. Most of this we've seen already. But I think it starts the new stuff after this now. Where I go to search for Vrov right away. So yes, thank you all for coming. Hope you all had a wonderful time. If this morning for you, have a brilliant morning. If it's not, have a wonderful night. I've been your host, Julius, and overheated, and I've been enjoying Tsukihime. In regards to the next stream, it'll probably be on Wednesday. I'll post details on Twitter when that happens. But for now, yeah, we'll just wrap it up here. So yeah, I'm interested and excited to see where this goes in the next part. where I think will be all the new stuff. So all this we've gone through before, but it was a nice little recap. But yes, thank you all for coming, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye! Wow. Baba Booey Etiquette Chungus.